Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to center field of the field. Earlier today, the college recognized 7 individuals with the 2017 Alumni Awards for outstanding service, achievement, distinction, and loyalty to Adrian College. They will be congratulated on the field by President Jeffrey Docking first. Chuck McCollum, class of 1961 of Benton Harbor, Michigan, with the Distinguished Alumni Award for an exceptional career in business leadership, a successful career in professional officiating, and for his strong support on behalf of the ATO fraternity and the Adrian College Alumni Association, for which he serves as the president. Ashley Bujavu, class of 2010 of Chicago, with the Young Alumni Achievement Award for her early corporate success in human resource management and entrepreneurial venture in creating sweat-proof cosmetics while committing herself and her company to ethical business practices. Jim Culbertson, class of 1963 from South Lyon, Michigan, for the Alumni Service Award for extraordinary involvement with the Adrian College community, lifelong service to his fraternity, SAE, and for his humble generosity to the students of Adrian College. Audrey Smith Ellenwood, class of 1973 from Sylvania, Ohio, with the Alumni Humanitarian Award for her incredible generosity to the children of South Africa, for her service to families in Ohio, and for inspiring the next generation of humanitarians through her work at Bowling Green University. Rod McLennan, construction business owner from Hillsdale, Michigan, with the Honorary Alumni Award for his devotion to quality and expertise in craftsmanship displayed on campus, for his friendship and for his generous donations to Adrian College and its students. Bill Bachman, recently retired professor of the college's business department of Adrian, for the AC Stewardship Award for his exceptional teaching, for his leadership among the faculty, and for his unwavering devotion to Adrian College and its students. And last, Joe Van Giesen, class of 2012 of Adrian, and Director of Admissions, for the Outstanding Alumni Employee Award for his commitment to prospective students, for his energy and passion for the college, and for his leadership and creativity exhibited on campus. Let us applaud these fine individuals and offer our congratulations. Fans, please continue your focus to the center of the field. Last evening, the college inducted 5 individuals and 1 team into the Athletic Hall of Fame. This year's honorees will be congratulated on the 50-yard line by President Jeffrey Docking, Athletic Director Mike Duffy, and Toby Ernst. First, the 2007-2008 men's NCAA hockey team, under head coach Ron Fogarty. The first Bulldogs squad set the tone for the gold standard of excellence that the college has been known for in the sport of ice hockey. Led by the program's founder, Ron Fogarty, upstart Adrian's finished with a 26-3 record versus established programs, swept the Midwest Collegiate Hockey Association regular season, finishing 19-1, and tournament titles. They set 4 NCAA Division III records that still stand 10 years later, and were the national statistical champion in 4 separate categories.
We're still here till
From Rochester Hills, Michigan, Danielle Hobbs-Savard, class of 2004 for track and cross country. Danielle was named All-MIAA cross country 4 times and is the first Bulldog to be first team twice. On the track, she set 4 school records in the 1,500 meter run, 3,000 meter, 3,000 meter steeplechase, and 5,000 meter. She was a team captain and Bulldog MVP in both sports and was named Scholar All-America 8 times. From Adrian, Michigan, Mike Riley, class of 2001 for basketball. The scoring guard was a 1,000-point scorer for the Bulldogs from 1997 to 2000. Finishing with 1,007 points and one of only 2.
And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the Britain Sports Network. I'm Jim Funderburg along with Jim Bellamy. Today we travel to a very beautiful docking stadium. And when I say beautiful, Jimmy, I mean the sun is shining. It's football weather. We got sun in our eyes, and it's going to be a great afternoon of football.
Yeah, it's always been one of my favorite fields to come broadcast a game here at Adrian College. And I had the pleasure of working at Adrian for a couple years when I worked with the YMCA up here, so a little bit of a homecoming, so to speak, and it's great to see homecoming festivities going on today as well.
Exactly, today homecoming here for the Bulldogs, and they have invited a very pesky and tough bunch of Britons over here to do battle with them, and we're hoping to come in and spoil the afternoon and the early evening for the folks here in the gold and black, and then head back on over to Albion with a W here, and a lot of unhappy homecoming fans here in Adrian. Going to be a good crowd on hand. Looks like the group are just starting to work their way in. I'm sure there was tailgating and all those traditional things going on before the homecoming football game today, and people are starting to get into those gold seats. That's one thing with their stadium. It's always been a neat place to be because they've got the gold and the black seats, and they actually have the seats with the arms on them. So it's not a bleacher type seating here at Docking Stadium. Nice facility, nice place to play. It looks like they're going to need some field turf down the road just a little bit, as this one starting to get a little bit older, and you're spoiled when you're over at Albion and looking at that brand new grass.
And I think part of it also, though, is the way the fall sports are set up. I think this field gets a lot of use, not only with football, of course, but I believe also soccer and lacrosse play on the same field, if I remember correctly. So a lot more wear and tear. Like you mentioned at Albion, with the new sports complex that's there, they're able to kind of divide those sports up a little bit so the field doesn't take as much of a pounding. But like you said, this one gets a lot of use, and I'm sure with all the recent renovations that have been going on at Adrian College, a new field turf surely is on the way.
Both of these teams come in at 1 of 2 this afternoon. The Bulldogs get here after a loss 35-31 to Ohio Northern to open up the season. Then they beat Rockford 62-7, and they lost to Wisconsin Stevens Point last week 41-28, and that was the only team in the conference last week that was playing football. Everybody else took the weekend off.
Yeah, it was a close game in the first quarter, 21-14 Stevens Point. 28-21 at halftime, and then a 13-7 fourth quarter helped spell the difference. But it was a pretty good afternoon for Adrian. They held strong. Stevens Point, a very powerful D3 team, and Adrian put up a very respectable showing, falling late, but like I said, 28-21 at halftime. You could be encouraged by that.
Yeah, I would think so. Obviously, this was a common opponent for both these schools. This year, the Britons come into the ball game this afternoon after a big 79-7 win over Concordia the last time they took the field. They lost the week before that to Stevens Point 33-19, and they opened up with a real tough ball game down in Wabash and a loss there 35-26. So if it tells you anything, it tells you what we kind of thought coming into this football game. These are two teams that are pretty evenly matched. We expect a really good football game this afternoon.
Very evenly matched, and I don't know that homecoming necessarily is something that's going to scare the Britons when they go on the road. I think that because these teams are very familiar with each other, great proximity in terms of distance between the schools. I have to venture to guess that the schools are, in some cases, competing for the same athletes, too, going to the area high schools. And so I'm sure there's a lot of familiarity between the two programs. And even though it's homecoming, and you'd like to think with homecoming the home team would have a natural edge just based on emotion and momentum, I don't know that the Britons are necessarily too concerned about that today. When it's homecoming, everything's happening, and it's basically just you against the world. And this is really the epitome of that kind of game. And with the offensive success the Brits had last week, certainly don't expect 79 points again this week, but I do expect a very fired-up team to come out.
It's a situation last year where Adrian stole one from us on our turf last year, 28-21. It was one of those games that we lost last year in the final couple minutes of that football game, a touchdown pass with just 1 minute and 36 seconds left from Hunter Ham, who is now the backup quarterback this year, and we'll talk a little bit about that here as we go. Gave them the winning score. The Brits were down 21-7 at halftime. They did rally in that third quarter. Chad Hamilton threw a pair of touchdown passes, two of them to Brian Blanzy, and we do expect to see Brian play in a little bit here today. That tied the score up, set everything up. Josh Padelt intercepted and returned a ball to the Adrian 5-yard line with 5:40 left to go in that ball game, which set up that second score. Adrian then basically countered Albion's tying score with an 11-play drive that went 63 yards. The Bulldogs moved into scoring position when Ham hit Jaron McGaw, who will be on the field again today for a 27-yard gain down to the Albion 22. Ham then later found McGaw for a 6-yard gain on a third down play. Albion finished the day that afternoon with 392 total yards of offense. Hamilton, who was a senior last year, completed 20 passes for 242 yards. Koski had a career high at that point in time with 7 receptions for 117 yards. Hauled in a 7-yard touchdown pass that tied the score at 7 in the first quarter. Unfortunately, though, for the Britons that afternoon, they came away with a 28-21 loss, and it was just kind of indicative of the entire season. A decent afternoon last year for cornerback Anthony Waite, who had 11 tackles. Austin Lynn and Jesse Wilson also had sacks, and Rayshawn Robinson collected his first career interception, and Rayshawn has parlayed that into some good things here this year. We're ready for the national anthem here at the stadium, so we'll step away for just a moment and be back with the starting lineups. Back here at Docking Stadium on the campus of Adrian College, Jim Funderburg, Jim Bellamy, as I didn't see anybody kneeling or taking any kind of precautions out there today. How's that? Are you tired of that conversation yet, Jim?
I was tired of it before it started.
There you go. Well, for the Bulldogs, they're coming in off of a loss, as you said, Jimmy, to Wisconsin Stevens Point. But I was amazed at the number of points that were scored in that first quarter. I mean, it was 21-14 at the end of the first quarter last week, with Stevens Point up by a touchdown. And for those two teams to put 35 points on the board in the first quarter, to me, I don't see it. This is a team, basically an Adrian who normally runs the football quite a bit, and Stevens Point, a very electric and high-scoring team. And when you take a look at the play-by-play, Stevens Point hit a 38-yard pass to Ryan Swigert to get on the scoreboard. They also then had a 75-yard pass completion to Jerry Williams, a very fine receiver that we saw. Adrian connected for a 69-yarder to Jaron McGaw, which made it a 14-14 game. And then Stevens Point, a 17-yard pass to Ermansky to make it 21-14. But boy, there was a whole lot of high-powered offense going last week while everybody else was taking the week off.
And the amazing thing is it was a high-powered offense, but you look at the statistics in that game, Jim. Stevens Point dominated the time of possession, 37 and change to 22 and change, and also 28 first downs for the Pointers to 12 for the Bulldogs. So they had quick answers, which is why the scoreboard was a little bit deceptive when you look at the statistics versus the score. So obviously that tells me that if you're on the road and you're able to strike quick, you certainly should think you'd be able to strike quick at home. So the Britain secondary is going to be put to the test early, as well as the defensive front. Make sure you don't give up any big runs, get them in third and long situations, and then if you have to go to a nickel or dime package, not really as much of a threat through the air, statistically speaking, as they are on the ground. They seem to be more of a ground-based team. But again, they've only played 3 games, and now we're getting into a conference schedule. And the Britain's secondary, has been picked on from time to time in the last couple seasons. So there's definitely a test coming for the Young Britons.
Well, Stevens Point, the Pointers last week put up 555 total yards of offense against this Adrian defense and held Adrian to 308. And as you said, when you talk about what do they do best, well, they ran the ball for 165 yards last week and threw the ball for about 143 yards. They were really kind of torched a little bit on both sides. I mean, basically, when you look at Stevens Point, 270 yards passing, 277 yards of rushing. So it was a pretty balanced attack, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you get one more rushing yard and you hit it 50-50 there. And, again, they were up 2 scores in the second quarter, and then Adrian responded right away to keep it to a 1-score game going into the half. But, they didn't go away. And that's, you got to respect that. Stevens Point, again, very good team, taking that long trip on the road. It's a tough out, and they certainly have a lot to be proud of last week. Certainly, if you're the Bulldogs, you want that win. But, you can't hang your head too bad with a game like that. That's a tough one going in.
You really do. Emmanuel Stewart led all rushers for the black and gold last week. He had 85 yards and 15 totes. David Nutter with 12 carries for 75 yards. Receiving, Jerron McGaw was the one and only, man. 5 catches, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns, 69 of them coming in 1 catch.
And, again, 143 yards total passing.
Yeah.
139 yards go to 1 receiver.
That's kind of let you open your eyes a little bit, doesn't it?
I'm not a defensive coordinator by any means, but I would say that they locked in on that target. So I'd say if you're looking to take the best weapons away on offense, again, you're get a skydiver coming in, Jimbo. Did you order that guy?
I brought him in. He's bringing lunch for Kenny Reeker here today. He's doing all the engineering for us, and that was kind of neat to see. Is there another one coming or just one? That's the only one coming. They're looking in the air still for maybe another.
Well, hopefully there's a second if Ken's saying 2.
So we got a second one coming in right now. One has already landed at the midfield stripe and is standing at the 45.
Skidded flat foot in. So
it was kind of amazing the way that he came in at that angle and everything.
Yep, they're still looking up. So
one more's got to be coming. How's that?
But again, we're doing audio-only broadcast, so.
Today's something new for everybody out there. We're just doing the audio side of the ball games for you today. We're going to do several of the road games this year. In fact, we will be several different places, and we'll keep you in tune to those as we go. But all of the away games except for the Wisconsin Lutheran game will be on our docket this year for just audio only. So that means that we'll be here today. We'll be back home on the 7th for the game with Trine, on the road at Olivet on the 14th, back home on the 21st with Alma. Then we'll take a week off on the 28th as the team travels to Wisconsin Lutheran, and we'll be on the road at Hope on the 4th day of November, and back home to wrap everything up, and we'll be here before you know it with Kalamazoo on the 11th day of November. Now, let's talk a little bit about the last time our Britons took to the field, Jim, because that was one of those afternoons where everybody got a chance to play. Brits beat CUW 79-7 in a ball game that really was not that close.
No, not at all. 45-0 at halftime, and the game was never in question. They were a missed field goal by a backup kicker away from tying the school record, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe 80 was the record as they brought it to our attention up in the booth last week. So 79-7 game, as you mentioned, never in doubt. for the Britons. Kyle Thomas, of course, through the air, 344 yards. Also led the team on the ground with 62 yards. Showed an incredible ability to keep plays alive.
Yeah.
And I think that the mobile quarterback just took enough out of the defense to open up the passing game. And when they hit the receivers downfield, they hit some pretty big plays too. Also earned 5 yards through the air for the leader, Sean Koski. So, definitely a dominating performance. Lost the time of possession battle, interestingly enough. 33-45 to 26, but still.
We always lose the time of possession every day. Thank goodness we don't lose the score most of the time. Total for the afternoon 2 weeks ago, 746 total yards, 447 of them through the air, 269 of them on the ground. And as you said, Kyle Thomas just starting to come into his own. I thought it was a very interesting story this week on GoBrits.com that Bobby put up. If you don't know any more about Kyle Thomas, then oftentimes you get to know by just coming to watch the ball game. It's worth the time to read. He's a transfer student from the University of Findlay. Has only really been with the program since the summer practices start. So you can understand why there are times when you look at number 2 and you wonder whether number 2 and everybody else on the field are on the same page. Well, they're going through some growing pains right now, Jim. You can't just bring a brand new quarterback in and set him up the week that you all get to know one another when you come a couple weeks before school and hope that by the time you even get into the week that we're in right now that he's going to have everything under control and have all the terminology and all the plays where you'd like for him to be. But, boy, I'll tell you what, the young guy has shown a lot of magic in the time that he's been playing for the Britons.
Yeah, absolutely. And, building that rapport pretty quickly. I think a game like last week, there were a few things that he did that really kind of opened my eyes and I think earned the respect of some of his teammates, even more so perhaps than he had before. And I'm just speaking just for myself saying that. I don't have any inside information to corroborate it, but there were some plays that he finished when he was scrambling where instead of going out of bounds, he would take on the defender, keep the plays alive. That one pass he threw where he was basically tackled. Again, just showing the toughness, and again, being able to lead the team, sustaining the drives, doing everything you need to do to keep those drives alive. Obviously, it keeps the defense happy because they do run a no-huddle, high-tempo, fast-tempo offense. So with that, if you don't pick up first downs, your defense could be on the field majority of the game.
Yeah.
So being able to sustain those drives certainly makes the defense happy. And again, showing that mental and physical toughness, extending those plays, taking on those defenders at the end of those runs. I think those are the kind of things that will continue to earn the respect of his teammates down the road.
Now we got a drone flying overhead, Jim, with a little camera on it, so I don't know what they're taking pictures of, whether that's part of Buckeyes broadcast today or somebody just flying and taking some pictures for the colleges. We're about ready to have the opening coin toss to see who's going to get this football. Just minutes away from the kick here today. The Britons today are in their gold jerseys with the gold helmets, the gold trim, the gold pants. And the Adrian Bulldogs today in their home yellow jerseys with the black trim, the black pants, the black helmets. And they are the home team here today as everybody moves out to the center of the field for this coin toss.
Jim, looking at the overall series, Albion, this series began back in 1906. Albion leads the all-time series 55-30 with one tie. And the Britons are 4-3 versus Adrian College coach Jim Deere. Last 8 games have been decided by about 10 points a game. So last year's game going down to the wire with a touchdown. Maybe a sign of the way I think this rivalry is going to start going. I don't know that the games are going to be decided by 10 points going forward. I get the feeling that that kind of late fourth quarter, touchdown field goal kind of deal is going to be about what you're going to see with these two teams. I think they're a lot closer, and they're going to continue to get a lot closer in terms of parity. And so it's going to be little breaks like, flipping the field on special teams, getting those critical stops on third downs, and just not letting Adrian College get too much momentum. Stifle them early, maybe get up early, and then just going to have to play smart and play hard-nosed football to win.
Full house on the home side and pretty good crowd on the visitor side as we go down to listen to the coin toss here.
The Bulldog is the head. The Britons, you get to call the toss. Chuck, please. Call is? Heads is the call. Tails is the result. Adrian, you win the toss. You want the ball? Which way you guys want to kick? Your back's to this goal.
There you have it. Adrian wins the toss. They elect to have the football right away. And the one thing that I always remember about this stadium is that the sun becomes a real vicious little commodity here for a while, because it is right in our face as we look out on the football field. In about an hour or so, it's going to be high enough that it won't be much of an issue. It actually comes across the side of the field, so the guys on the field don't have quite as many problems with it as the folks trying to do the game here on the home side. And that will make it a little bit difficult at times for us to catch numbers and things like that. But we will do our best to get you the action today and hope that we bring a win back to Albion this afternoon as the Bulldogs and the Britons get ready to do battle here on basically a Saturday afternoon still, Jim. 5 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah.
It doesn't turn evening till 6, so we've got an hour's worth of afternoon enjoyment and then a couple hours after the sun goes down. Back deep will be number 20, Foster Walker, and also 31, who is Jacob Davis. They will be the return guys for the Bulldogs, and they will stand inside the 5-yard line and wait for the kick as the Britons now break their huddle and head out to the football field. Glad to have you with us here on the Britons Sports Network this afternoon. Should be a lot of fun, a little different for us here this afternoon, calling a radio game instead of a television game.
Means we're just going to have to, as they say, use our words.
That's exactly what we'll have to do. Fabre is about ready to tee it up.
And Jim, interestingly enough, number 31, assuming it's the same player that's listed on the program, is an outside linebacker, senior Jacob Davis. It's very rare that you see a linebacker back as a primary potential return man, so I think I might kick it his way just to see what he has.
Davis on the year has 6 kick returns, Jimmy. He's averaging 23 at a pop, so also 3 punt returns, and he's averaging 12 there. So maybe no real numbers on the other side for Foster Walker, but they will kick it to the guy that you want it to, and Davis will pick it up and return it. He's across the 20 to about the 25-yard line where he runs into a sea of purple and gold. And the Bulldogs will start their afternoon right on the 25-yard line. Here we go. It's time for football here on the Britton Sports Network.
Jim, that was a good job of bottling up the lanes right there. Didn't give him any opportunity to cut it to either his left or his right. Had to just pretty much go straight forward and get what he could out of that one. Good gang tackle at about the 25, and nothing beyond that, as the Adrian College Bulldogs go left to right on your radio dial and kick off the first drive of this contest.
Clayton Euchre is the quarterback. He's 6'6". To his left is Emmanuel Stewart as they line up in the pistol look, and they'll turn and hand it to Stewart. Stewart comes right up the middle of the football field. There's nice room over the left guard spot, and he'll be close to a first down with his first run here the afternoon.
Big run of about 9 yards right there, just shy of the first down marker, put him at the 34 with a 2nd and 1.
Caleb Vonderlat is the H-back tight end. Wide receiver Jaron McGall and Randy Fryer, the 2 wide receivers, and we'll get to the line here in just a moment. Again, they'll hand it off to Stewart. Stewart dancing just a little bit. In fact, that is 6. Yep, Stewart again, and he will get the first down. Ran in the backfield for just a little bit and then found the hole and popped it up along that left end spot for about a yard, maybe 2. He'll be close to the 38-yard line, so it will be first down and 10.
You've seen that slow stutter step run made famous by Le'Veon Bell of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You used to think that when you were running hard for 1 yard, you wouldn't dance, but it becomes the thing now.
The handoff goes to Stewart again. He'll cross the 40-yard line straight up the middle of the football field for a couple, and the Britons will knock him down there after a couple.
Again, the run defense is going to be tested by this Britons team. We mentioned in the open that the Bulldogs are a run-before-pass kind of team, and that's what they've shown so far. I haven't put the ball in the air yet.
Reynolds made the tackle on the last play. Again, the pistol look. They've got 2 receivers to the top, 2 receivers to the bottom. Stewart running in the backfield. They'll hand him the football. He'll go off left guard, runs into a whole bunch of angry Brits this time for just a short gain. Guys on the bottom of the pile looked like Austin Lynn was one of the first guys that got there, and he was helped by Ben Good and Dallas Reynolds. And the Bulldogs stop Stewart for just a short gain. It sets up 3rd down now and about 3.
You're talking about a workhorse running back, Jim.
It's all it's been so far.
Yep. Now 2 running backs in the backfield.
Quarterback goes under center this time. Vanderlot is the fullback now, and they whistle before the play starts. I think we have a timeout, Adrian, before the snap gets started. And Adrian will take that very first time out, and it didn't look like anything was confused down there all that much, Jim, but something that Jim Deere did not like, so he motioned to the official right away and got him over to that sideline. Let's set up the defense here for the Brits right now as we take a look at this football team. In that secondary, Anarot, Carter, Harvey, and Robinson are the defensive backs. Rodriguez and Wickens are the linebackers today. Fullerton, Reynolds, Kubit, Miller, and Lynn, the down linemen as we got started. And on the other side, as we said, it's Randy Fry and Jerron McGaw, the wide receivers, Emmanuel Stewart, the running back, along with Caleb Vanderlot, who came in as a fullback last time. 84, Wilshon King, another wide receiver that they will use. And their offensive line, a pretty good-sized bunch, and we'll get to those guys here in just a minute. Okay, back out on the football field. Third down at about 3. Wide receiver to the top, wide receiver to the bottom, and they've got a fullback in again, Vanderlot on the right side, and they're going to give it to Emmanuel Stewart, who takes the direct snap.
He's not going to get there.
They'll try to get around the right corner, but there's way too many Britons there. No place to go, and the first guy there was Joe Fullerton. Fullerton saw it coming. He pinched on the left end and stepped inside, and Stewart was able to get back close. It's going to be fourth down and about a foot with the ball on the Adrian 48-yard line. They're lined up again. They're going to go. They got the quarterback right back in again.
Yeah, this is definitely a 4th and 1, although the official's calling a timeout. I'm not sure if he's going to measure. Looks like they will, but I don't think there's any question. He's a good half-yard short.
Euchre, the quarterback, back in the lineup, and when they came to the line of scrimmage, he was standing back over center. Again today, the left tackle is Bariah Staton. The left guard, Jaleel Brown. The center is Eric McDonald. Matt Hoover is the right guard. Damian Brooker is the right tackle. And as they bring the sticks out and measure, Jimmy, your eyes are just perfect. It's a couple feet short, and it'll set up fourth down and short for Adrian.
I like the call if they're going to go for it here. You're near midfield. Again, it's homecoming. You feel like you have the momentum. You've had a nice drive so far, and they've been able to convert on 3rd and short before, and they have less real estate to pick up on this 4th down and less than a yard. So have to think that you're going to see Stewart again on this run, but again, we'll find out in a matter of seconds here.
Euchre will go under center this time. Again, a fullback as they line up in the eye, and the eye back is Stewart, and they'll turn and they'll hand it to Stewart again. He'll try right side, and he'll find just enough of a crack to sneak across the midfield stripe and get into Britain's territory. It'll be first down and 10 now, Bulldogs at the 49.5-yard line of the Britons.
Well, one thing I can tell you, Jim, is Stewart isn't going to get the next carry because he just checked out.
About time the boy just needs a little bit of a breather, I think. David Nutter checks in, 35. Nutter, another one of those seniors, 5'11" and 231 pounds. So what Stewart lacks in size, Nutter makes up for, and they leave Vanderlot in there at the fullback spot. He's on the left wing. They'll turn and hand to Nutter. Nutter's running right side, goes around the right corner. He got hit hard. As coming up from the defensive backfield was Richard Anarot. Anarot lowered his shoulder and really put a thump on him, and then a little help by Trey Edwards. And at that point in time, he goes down for just a pickup of about 3.
And, Jim, one of those things you and I kind of jokingly talked about pregame, they were running a wrap-up tackle drill. And I said, wait till the game starts. You're going to see a lot more sticks and a lot less wrap. And unfortunately, that was the case. Anarot just went for the shoulder, didn't go for the wrap right there.
Hand off to Nutter again straight up the middle of the football field. Rodriguez has a handle on him there. He's helped by Joe Fullerton. And Rodriguez and Fullerton basically make the tackle, but Nutter gets another couple as he goes straight up the middle of the football field. And so far, Adrian living up to their reputation. Third down now and 3 with the ball on the Britain's 42-yard line.
And you can pretty much call any play you want if you're the Bulldogs right now, because if they went for it on 4th down on the other side of the field, they don't get the first down here. I'd have to think they're going to go again. Nutter
lines up to the right side of the quarterback. They'll hand it to him. They'll try to trap it off the left guard, and he runs into some nasty traffic at the line of scrimmage. Goes down on the field. I think he lost the ball but fell on it. No gain basically is going to be the call. It'll be third down and a couple now. Fourth down, and a couple. Just underway here, 10 minutes and 43 seconds to play in the opening quarter. No score here from Adrian.
And the Bulldogs have already called one timeout. And play clock's down to 15. I don't think they're going to need to burn one here as they have trips to the high side.
Trips go to the top. Again, Emmanuel Stewart to the left of his quarterback in the pistol. So they're lined up at about the 47. They will hand it to Stewart. He'll come around the right end and again gets just enough to get that first down. Lowered his shoulder, lowered his head, went underneath and got inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line, and that's enough for a first down. And again, second time they've run on fourth down and second time they've converted, Jim.
Yep, and there's nothing sexy about this drive so far for the Bulldogs, Jim. But what it's doing is it's starting to wear down that defensive front. The offensive line's getting a little more confidence with each snap, and the more they feel they can push the Britons' D-line back, the more they're going to run.
I formation. They'll hand to Stewart again, the deep back, and he has room off the left side as he goes through left tackle across the 35 down to the 33. They'll mark him actually at the 31-yard line.
It's a chess match from this point forward, though, Jim, because you'd have to think at some point you're going to give up on the pass at least a little bit, and you're going to have to at least show run blitz. You're going to have to start bringing more guys.
Second down, they'll give him 6. Second down and 4 now.
But as soon as you do that, then you run a play action. So, again, it's that fascinating chess match that makes football so enjoyable.
McGaw is wide to the home side. On the other side is Fry, and the offset eye look here for the Bulldogs. They'll turn and they'll hand it again. The same guy, Stewart, around left end, still on his feet at the 10. Knocked out of bounds just about at that spot as he went around the left corner on the visitor's side, scooted up the sideline. Britons were able to knock him down. They actually are going to mark him at about the 11, maybe the 12 was where they said he went out.
So red zone opportunity, and the Bulldogs can get a first down without a touchdown, but I think that they're thinking 6 on this drive, Jim. This has been a very methodical 6-minute drive so far as we just dip under 9 minutes to play in quarter number 1. Still scoreless here in Adrian.
First down from the 11-yard line, I formation, and they have replaced the Stewart with Nutter, and he has the football. He's going to try to go right side, and the Britons this time all over it. And we do have a flag in the secondary here. Nutter got back to basically the line of scrimmage, maybe got a half a yard.
Yeah, they're scooching that flag back up to about the line of scrimmage at about the 11, Jim. So usually that's going to be in the area of either offsides or holding.
We'll wait for the official here to give us the word.
Ooh, even better. If you're a Brits fan, that's a 15-yard penalty right there. So you have a red zone opportunity and you're out of the red zone.
So the chop block will take the Bulldogs back all the way back to about the 26-yard line. And it will be first down now and 25. And now we'll see if they're going to put this ball in the air.
It's only first down, I wouldn't. I mean, they've been getting good chunks on the ground. I mean, eventually, yeah, you're going to get to a second and long, a third and long, because they're getting about 6-7 yards a carry. But this drive, again, it's been all offensive line. You know, the big guys putting the hats on the D-line and pushing them back.
Doubles on both sides. Both guys have a slot receiver on both sides. They'll fake the ball to Nutter and throw it in the pick.
Intercepted.
This is picked up. Harvey's got it midfield. He's got a block. He's on his way up the sideline, and he's on his way for 6.
Adios, my friend. That's a touchdown.
Michael Harvey steps in front of that one and says, you know what? I've seen that one happen too many times. They threw a little fade route down around the 20-yard line. It kind of floated out there heading towards Randy Fry. All of a sudden you saw 7 flash out in front of the intended receiver. He got a block at midfield, and from there it was all Michael Harvey. Give him about 80, what do you think, 82, 83, Jimbo? We'll probably see on the stats here in just a minute.
Official number momentarily, but that
right
was
around the 20-yard line where he flashed in front of that receiver, and boy, he turned it on.
You only had the quarterback to beat at that point, and you know as a DB, if the quarterback makes that tackle, you're never going to hear the end of it.
Snap is good. The extra point is blocked, and it will roll into the end zone, and everybody will fall on it right around, I guess, about the goal line. It didn't make it quite to the end zone, so the extra point was blocked. But Michael Harvey.
This is exactly how you needed to start a game like this, Jim.
You
would have loved to get a 3 and out. But a pick 6, even better.
Michael Harvey at the 8:14 mark, they say stepped in front of a pass from Euchre at the 19-yard line and took it back 81 total to make it 6-0 Brits. And what a great way to get started. Just as the Adrian Bulldogs looked like they had everything going their way after just pounding their way down the sideline. All of a sudden, the chop block 15-yard penalty, which brought them backwards. And then after that, it became a situation where they threw their first pass of the afternoon, and maybe now we know why.
Well,
they're
Jim,
not a passing football team, huh?
You even said, do you think pass here? And again, they had so much success running the ball. They were able to get 6-7 yards a crack. Granted, it was 1st and 25, but a good 6-7 yard gain. 2nd and 18 for them. That's 2 more carries, and you're really thinking 4th down and short. So they kind of lost their identity with that last play. They telegraphed the pass to the quick out to the left sideline, and the rest is history. 6-0 Britons.
Walker and Davis again back deep around the 5-yard line. They'll kick the ball to Davis again. He'll field it, stepping backwards at the 5, inside the 4, comes back out, and he just gets thumped at about the 19-yard line. Rodriguez, the first guy that was down there to help. Also Jordan Carter, and the Bulldogs will start this one at about the 19-yard line. 8:08 to play, first quarter.
Linebacker on that special teams play right there. Rodriguez again, Jim, just everywhere on every play, it seems like.
Well, let's see what happens here as the Bulldogs now have another long field. They did a nice job of executing that running game last time, and again, they have Emmanuel Stewart to the right now of the quarterback in the pistol look, doubles on both sides. They'll hand the ball to Stewart. This time the Bulldogs won't get quite as many as the Brits are there. They tried to pull him down, had a shot at him in the backfield, let him get forward for a yard or two, and
Tyler George, 32, Jim, went for the arm tackle, went for the strip right there instead of the wrap. He'd like to do a wrap and a strip right there. Thankfully wasn't able to squirt out to get too many yards, but got a good stick right there, the D-line. Maybe a little bit more energized on this drive.
Bulldogs send triples up to the visitor sideline. They'll throw a little flanker screen. It is completed to McGall. McGall gets up the sideline for the first down and steps out of bounds at about the 31-yard line.
Well, the official's going to mark him actually 3 yards short, Jim.
He stepped out a little early.
Stepped out before he reached that ball across, yeah.
Tough for us to see from this side. We're on the home side here today, looking across to the visitor side, and that's where he was.
Yep.
It will be 3rd down at about 3 as they do mark him out. Yeah, give him 2. 3rd and about the 2 from about the 28, but it's a long 2.
Yep, I'm with you, though. Having it be all the way across the field. You see him continue that stride and reach that ball, you think he's getting the marker.
Stewart with the run, and he's
nice
got wrapped up in the backfield. That was 44 Hunter Shaw that came crashing in from his right defensive end spot, and he wrapped the little fellow up and said, nope, you're not going anywhere, and then he had some help.
What a difference a drive makes.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
The Bulldogs' offensive line just really dominated the D-line of the Britons. In this set of downs, though, I think you saw a little bit more of a run blitz presence. I saw linebackers in the backfield messing things up. A little more push, a little more oomph out of the D-line.
Jordan Carter will stand back on his 38-yard line, waiting this kick. Punter at the 10 of Adrian. Good snap. Here comes the rush. They blocked it. Britt scooped it up right there at the 10-yard line. Nice job by the Britons. They had everybody coming. There were more purple shirts in the backfield than there were gold shirts today.
Jim, that was number 30, Donovan Slates on the block. Guess where Donovan Slates is from?
I don't know.
Adrian, Michigan.
I'll be darned. Welcome home, Donovan. How's that, huh?
So gets right up the middle, gets that block. That was tremendous push and a lot of speed on special teams right there. They were there in the blink of an eye.
Marked him down at the 12. I kind of like that even a little bit better because there is that opportunity for the first down as the Brits offense now comes out of the field for the first time this afternoon.
You talk about statistics being askew. The Brits don't have an offensive stat, but they're leading.
It's amazing. Elverson Mitchell, I believe, is the young guy in the backfield, but we can't see his number. As Thomas in the pistol look with the running back to his right, doubles on the top, doubles on the bottom. They will hand the ball off straight up the middle for a couple of yards. And I believe that is Mitchell, 36, yeah.
36, Alverson Mitchell, the sophomore from Roseville, Michigan, Warren Woods High School. Again, as Jim mentioned, they will be able to get a first down without putting it in the end zone. But I think, again, just like the Bulldogs on the previous drive, Britons might be just thinking 6.
Triples on the top here as they fake the ball to Mitchell this time. Throw it in the corner. Touchdown! I believe that was Koski in the left corner, but nope, we'll have to wait to see him up. That's Marlon Martin.
Yes, sir.
Number 4 that got up off the turf down there.
Good timing pattern over the shoulder. The defender never turned around, and that was a good job of kind of selling that right there by Martin. Didn't look up and hold his hands up till the last second. The defender didn't have a chance at that point to react and get the hands up, and he had a good 2-yard separation on him right there too. So surprising that was a relatively easy pitch and catch touchdown in the near corner, and it puts the Brits up 12-0 with the extra point coming up.
Single coverage on Martin that time, and they made him pay. Snap is good. The kick this time goes right straight through the uprights, and just like that, the Britons up 13-0 with 5:50 to play
and that
in quarter number 1.
Hits James F. Thomas Pavilion right in the Adrian College logo right there. So there was a little bit of leg in that extra point, making up for the one that got blocked last time.
Oh, man, what a way to start a football game, huh? Welcome to homecoming at Adrian here this afternoon, Jim.
Jim, want to let everybody know the Albion Historical Society hosts a read-aloud book discussion of True Grit, the common reading experience for Albion's Big Read at 2 o'clock tomorrow at the Gardner House Museum, 509 South Superior Street. Again, that's 2 o'clock tomorrow. True Grit at the Gardner, 509 South Superior Street.
Brits will kick off now for the 3rd time this afternoon. And Davis again will be the deep guy here on the home side back at the 5-yard line.
We'll get you some conference scores after this kickoff as well.
Walker on the visitor's side up around the 8-yard line. Fabry gets ready to kick this thing off. If you're just tuning in, Brits scored on a pass interception that went 81 yards by Michael Harvey, and then a nice little 10-yard catch by Marlon Martin to make it 13-0. Davis will catch this one at the 8-yard line, heading up the home sideline. Britton's around, he cuts his field, he heads towards the middle of the field, got a little room across the 30 to about the 32-yard line.
Really like that return right there. Again, it looked like the lanes were cut off, but he had that nice little stutter step cut to his left, was able to get about 10, 11 extra yards out of that. Starting to see why that young man had a decent return average. Brits did a good job bottling him up the first 2, but he got a little bit more that time.
Drew Schaefer with the tackle for the Britons, as Adrian comes back with their offense again, and I believe they have Nutter now as a running back. McGaw will go wide to the visitor's side, and Fry will go wide to the home side.
Bulldogs have to be thinking, what hit him?
Turn and hand to Nutter. He'll come straight up the middle of the football field. He has some room as he's close to the 35 before the Britons slow him down. He falls into the 36. So give Nutter about 4 yards on that opening run.
He's starting to get a little chippy down there between the O-line and the D-line, but again, you're talking about guys that are making some serious contact with each snap, so you have to think you're not going to be too happy with each other.
Shaw and Cuban Miller on the tackle there as the Bulldogs now line up with doubles to the top. Tight end on this side. They've got their fullback in the slot on the right side. They turn again to Nutter. Nutter has room right up the middle of the football field. He'll have a first down. Harvey tried to strip that ball loose as he crossed the 45-yard line. But I'll tell you what, Nutter is a big, strong, tough customer.
Yes, sir.
And he just kept his head down, moved his legs, and got out across the 45 to the 48. It'll be first down and 10, Adrian.
42-20, Hope beats Olivet, and Alma beats Kalamazoo 30-10. The last score we had for Trine Concordia, 44-7 Trine in the 4th quarter.
Nutter again, straight up the middle of the field to the 45. That'll be a pickup of about 7. In fact, they move him right across the 45 to the Britons 45 to the Britons 44-yard line. It'll be second down and 2 now. Doubles to the top. They'll turn again to Nutter. Nutter runs left side, right side now. Round the end, first down to the 41-yard line. Good job by the Brits to make the tackle there. It's Rodriguez in there along with Joe Fullerton, but not before Nutter gets enough for the first down at the 41-yard line of the Britons.
This drive looking very reminiscent of the first drive where they're getting big yardage on almost every carry. The Britons' run defense was very strong on the last drive, holding them to a 3-and-out. This time, however, Adrian College starting to flex its muscles.
4:08 to play here, first quarter. Triples go to the top, single right here in front of us on the home side. Going back to the little guy in the backfield. They'll toss the ball out of the screen to McGaw up on the visitor's sideline. He'll catch the football at about the 42, get up the field for about 3, where the Britons will make the tackle at about the 37-yard line, giving him about almost 4.
And if you're going to run a pass play, you have to think you're a little gun shy to throw it down the field, given the pick 6 earlier. not only do you have to erase that from your memory as a quarterback, but I think you need a few safe throws, those quick screens, bubble screens, safe throws, and they're basically just an extension of your running plays.
Back to the Wildcat now as Stewart in at the quarterback, and Euchre goes out as a wide receiver. He'll run it towards the home sideline. Emmanuel Stewart has the football round the right end to the 30-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down.
Again, you see the Wildcat, and it seems like 99.9% of the time you know they're going to run it, and yet it's still successful. And that's one of those things that you look at and you go, you know they're going to run. But again, it's, you know, the offensive line is, they're big, strong guys. They're doing their job. And it's just up to the defense to stop a play like that.
3 minutes to play now in the opening quarter. Wide receiver top and bottom. They'll turn to Stewart again. And Stewart cuts again off the left guard, straight up the middle of the football field. Rodriguez makes the tackle, but not before Stewart gets about 7. Second down and about 3.
Run D is going to need to stiffen up, Jimbo, or it's going to be 13-7 in a hurry.
Malik Bozell checks in for the Britons now at the left end spot. And the Britons, again, you're going to have to see some things happen here. I think Hunter Shaw in the left tackle spot, and now he flips with Dallas Reynolds. Turn, hands to Nutter this time left side, and the Britons clean this one up a little bit better.
But it's close to the first down marker, Jim.
Austin Lynn comes off the end and makes the tackle. He'll be very close to the 30-yard line, and that's where he needs to go. But they're going to call it just third down and about a foot.
And they measured before. This seems about as close as the last time they measured, but doesn't look like they're going to measure.
McGaw goes wide on the visitors' side as everybody's standing and just trying to see what's going on.
You sure? You sure?
Euchre comes up to the line of scrimmage and goes under center this time. He's got the straight eye look.
Might run a sneak here.
Sends his tight end in motion. They'll turn and hand the ball to Nutter, and he's going straight forward in that offensive line with a big push. Nutter ends up on the other side of the 20 all the way down to the 16-yard line. So that will be a first down for Adrian as we run down to 1 minute and 41 to play in the opening quarter.
13-0 Britons on a pick six, and then a blocked punt, which was quickly turned into a touchdown pass. And the Bulldogs all of a sudden, Jim, don't look to be in too big a hurry. The play clock's down to under 20, and we're at 1:25 and counting, quarter number 1.
Vanderlut is to the right of the quarterback right now on the wing, and Nutter to his left as they're in the pistol look. Single wide receiver top and bottom. They'll turn again and hand to Nutter. Nutter right tackle, still on his feet, inside the 10, down to about the 6-yard line. And Richard Andernaut was the young guy that made the tackle.
Looked way too easy on that one, Jim. You didn't even see a hat put on him until he was in the secondary.
That offensive line of Adrian has really done a nice job of opening up some holes. Again, Nutter, the running back, to the left of the quarterback. They'll turn and hand it to him again. He's going right side. This time the Britons say, nope, you're not going right side. We're going to knock you down. The very first guy to get there was Austin Lynn. And then when you go unpile what was underneath there, I believe the guy on the bottom was Hunter Shaw. Second down now and goal with the ball on the 4-yard line of Albion.
Maybe the last play of the first quarter as we tick under 35 seconds. Again, Bulldogs in no hurry to run this play. Play clock down to 15 and counting.
And they're going to go back into that Wildcat look as the quarterback now lines up as a wide receiver, and Emmanuel Stewart stands there in that pistol formation. Vanderlut to his right. He's going to come straight up the middle of the football field and wish he didn't. There was nothing but a solid wall of human beings at the line of scrimmage, and Stewart was stopped really for no gain. Maybe they'll give him a half a yard when they unpile everything, but that one went nowhere, and that will end the first quarter.
Yeah, that play, Jim, it looked like he basically knew he was going to run into a wall, and he just put his head down and ran into a wall. So the irresistible force met the immovable object right there, and it was a draw.
Well, when you take a look at a young fella who's a junior and he's 5'7" and 171 pounds, and that probably is generous, more than likely, and he looks at a big old wall of offensive linemen that are starting to take a half step backwards because they've made no penetration. There's not much of an option for that fellow at that point in time other than to run out what he was told to run, and that was to run right in the middle of it, and he got about a foot out of that one. It'll be third down now and goal as we flip the ends. And Adrian now will be going from the right to the left, and the Britons will go left to right.
See if we can get some game stats. 9 first downs for Adrian College compared to 1 for the Brits. Third down efficiency, 1 of 4 for Adrian College. The Brits have not had a third done yet. 28 total plays to 2, and the statistics will look very gaudy when you compare 125 yards on the ground compared to 2. However, you look at, again, it's just like we talked about earlier, that the statistics tell one story, the scoreboard tells another story, and again, the recap of the first quarter, a pick 6 as the Bulldogs were on a very good drive, headed down inside the red zone, took it back to the house for 80-plus yards. In the second drive, Britton's held them to a 3-and-out, blocked a punt basically at about the 12-yard line, and they quickly cashed that one in. So, Thomas 1 for 1, 10 yards and a touchdown, and they're 1 for 1 in terms of offensive red zone efficiency. So, the stats will tell you one story, but at a point like this, you look at the scoreboard. The scoreboard's what really is really telling you what's going on.
I formation on the other side now as the quarterback goes under center. He'll turn to Nutter, and he'll try right side. He'll get tripped up at about the 2. And that'll set up a 4th down now and a couple.
I think you go for it here. You've been this successful running the ball that you just have to pin your ears back as the defense and try to get that push. And as the O-line, we have one more good play in us. Stewart checks back in, Jim.
Yeah, you kind of wondered. Nutter now checks off. Stewart comes back in. Vanderbilt at the fullback stays in there. They call him the H-back. Quarterback again, Euchre will go under center from the 2-yard line. Just underway, second quarter. Single wide receiver on the home side. He's got single coverage out here as well. Britt's not expecting to throw. They'll pitch this time to Stewart. He's going to sweep the home side. And do you think he's knocked out before the end zone, or did he just get in? Looking to see, yeah, there you go. There's the sign coming our way. When you get down, there's a whole lot of clutter down there around the goal line with people watching the football game right now. The angle was a good one, but it was just barely in. If he got in by a yard.
Yep, but then we also saw a penalty flag thrown at the end there, so be interested to see if that's an unsportsmanlike or a late hit, one of the two.
Comes on for the extra point.
As sideline, he's going to get a sideline warning. What he's going to do, and he's going to have to do something about whoever's down there in that end zone, because there are almost guys on the football field, for my money. So the referee's probably going to take control of some things right now. There was such a crowd down there at the goal line, you couldn't see anything that was going on.
Yeah, I'd have to think with a.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 35. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed.
Okay, that was on Rodriguez.
Unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
Wow. Okay, couldn't even see that one either. But again,
had the tackle, must have
been
carried
late.
It a little too long. Yep.
But you just couldn't see where he was down there in that corner to be able to see anything. When they went to the goal line, they were just totally encircled by people.
Very impressive drive by the Bulldogs to respond.
13-6, low snap, but the placement is good and the kick is also. So it's 13-7 now with 14:09 to play in the opening quarter. Give you an idea so far, Jim. This has been kind of where it's at. The Bulldogs in the first quarter ran 28 plays to 2 offensively for the Britons, but they still trailed 13-0. So it doesn't really matter. Elverson Mitchell was the only guy to touch the ball on the ground for the Britons. He had one run for 2 yards. And Kyle Thomas was 1 for 1 for a 10-yard touchdown score to Marlon Martin after, as you pointed out, the block punt set him up deep in Adrian territory. So Britons this time probably are going to have to work the long game here, as they are going to get the kickoff, and the ball will be set up on the tee at midfield.
Almost makes you wonder, with the ball set up at midfield, do you think onside kick?
You sure could at this point in time. If there's ever a time where it's made for an onside kick, here it is. Jim Deere's been around here for 29 years, so I'm sure he's seen and called a few of them in his career. Last 8 he's been the head coach. 48-27 right now for the Bulldogs. And the Brits have guys sitting clear back in the end zone waiting for this kick. Marlon Martin is on the home side. And Zarnecki sits at the goal line, and they'll kick this one as far as they can kick it. And it will go up on to the net, and the Britons will have the football, first down and 10.
I'm going to ask you a serious question here. Why do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
If it's at midfield, why aren't you skying one and trying to pin him inside the 10 right there? You just basically just gave up. You gave up your penalty.
You gave up the penalty right there. You sure did,
Yep,
man, because basically the ball comes to the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. So
I apologize to the English language right there. They done gived it up.
All right, we've not had to flip this thing over to this side of my book here today very often, but we will now. Kyle Thomas comes in.
1 for 1.
And again, yeah, Mitchell will be the running back to his right. They're in the pistol look. Doubles to the top, doubles to the bottom, 2 slot receivers. And they've lost the football. Thomas looked like he was going to hand it to Mitchell, and the next thing you know, the ball was laying on the ground at about the 23-yard line, and Thomas had to go down and get it. So he'll lose a couple on the first down fumble.
Not a good start to this drive for the Britons as they still lead 13-7, but Adrian College wrestling and muscling some of that momentum back.
Blanzy's in the slot here on the home side. Martin is the wide receiver on the home side. Same arrangement on the other side, but you can't see the numbers from here. Thomas drops straight back. He'll throw to the visitor's sideline, and he throws it a little bit short. It was intended for Zarnecki up and around the 28-yard line, but the ball at his feet, and Pat had really no opportunity to pull that one up. Patrick Zarnecki going to get a lot of time here today, and one of the names that you will not hear today basically is a young guy that we'll talk about it a little bit later, but Britain's at the line of scrimmage. They're ready to play football, and we're ready to call it. Triples now go to the top to the visitor's sideline. Single wide receiver, that's Martin right in front of us. Wide side of the field is this side. Mitchell in the backfield again. Thomas looks to throw. He's got his guy across the middle. That's Koski. Koski breaks a tackle, and he's still running at the 40. That'll be enough for the first down. Sean Koski, the junior from Chesterfield, Michigan, with a nice catch for the first down, and the ball goes from the 22-yard line to the 41, and a pickup of 19 yards on that pitch and catch.
Found the soft spot in the zone right there. Surprised he was that wide open.
Triples looks like an arrow on our side here on the short side, which is the home side this time. Again, Mitchell in the backfield. They fake it to him. Throw the ball to Martin on the screen, the flanker screen, looking for a block as he heads up the sideline. And I think the block that we got had a little bit of a yank to it. Martin only got a couple, but I think the call is probably going to go against Brian Blanzy, who was trying to block for him, and he was the guy in front of Martin, and the official on the side here just pulled at the flag and threw it at his feet.
Yep, and he was probably about 3 or 4 feet maximum away from that downfield block right there, so he had about as good a view as you can get.
Yeah, if you wanted a good vantage point from it, he had the best one in the house, didn't he, Jim?
Yep. Blanzy went for the hand-shoulder type of block, and he must have got those hands in the jersey and underneath the shoulder pad right there. Must have twisted and been certainly enough to draw the flag. So big pickup on the previous third down. Now pushes them back to first and long. Just under 13 minutes to play. Quarter number 2, 13-7, Albion College.
First down at about 16 now for the Britons, who bring that same lineup. Triples right in front of us on the short side. They'll hand to Zarnecki, and I think he got tripped by somebody as he was trying to make the cut. I think he actually stepped on somebody's foot, whether it was a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman, but instead of going forward, he tripped and fell down to the backfield and lose a couple more yards. So it'll set up now a second down at about 18 for the Britons.
You have to think next 2 downs will be obvious pass situations, so we'll see how Adrian College responds with his defense. Triple 3-down lineman.
Spread wide on the visitor's sideline. Single wide receiver in front of us here. That's Martin, and Zarnecki again, the only back. He's to the left of the quarterback. Thomas fakes it to him, throws to the top of the screen. That's poor. He's got it. He's at midfield.
He's
at the 40. He's at the 30. He's at the 20, and finally knocked down at about the 14-yard line. Colin Poor with a little bit of a flanker screen. That's what they were trying to run on the other end with Martin when they got the hold. They ran it to the wide side of the football field that time. Everybody got their blocks, and Poor got up the football field.
54-yard gain. And the Britons on the move again, up 6.
Ball on the 10-yard line. Thomas again in the pistol look. Zarnecki to his right, doubles on both sides. He'll throw to Zarnecki, screen in the backfield. He's at the 10, makes the first guy miss, puts his head down, lowers his shoulders, and he ends up at about the 7-yard line.
Tough run right there after that catch by Zarnecki. Again, you know you're going to get the contact. You just try to either squeeze through or just take the contact as best you can and hold on to that football.
Underwood and Villalobos, the young guys that made the tackle. And again, now the Brits will go with the doubles to the top, the doubles to the bottom. 2nd down and goal. Well, actually, they've got that marked out that we can actually get a 1st down. So they hand it to Zarnecki, off right tackle.
He's
breaks through a tackle, and he's at the goal line and in. Nice job by Pat Zarnecki. Followed the right side of that offensive line. They opened up just enough hole. He made the first guy miss, and then the little fella just lowered the shoulder on the defensive back of the goal line and pushed him right on in.
We saw that really excellent downfield blocking by the Bulldogs on their previous drives where they've been able to move the ball. There's a case where the Britons were able to get into that second wave. Nobody put a hand or a hat on him until he was near the goal line.
11-13 to play here, 2nd quarter, as the extra point is up, and it's good. And just like that, the Brits now back on top 20-7 after a nice drive and a nice opportunity there for that offense to get back out and stretch their legs a little bit. Boy, they've been, it's pretty easy to sit on that sideline and fall asleep, Jim. 7-yard touchdown run by Pat Zarnecki. And the Britons, if you look at the stats just to this point, I mean, 4 first downs to 9 for Adrian, 3 of them passing, 1 of them rushing. They've hit all of their 3rd down conversions 1 for 1, but they've only run 10 plays compared to 30 plays for the Adrian Bulldogs so far today.
So the statistics again.
75 yards on that drive, Jim, and including that big pitch and catch to Cullen Poor.
Yeah, a couple of adverse 1st and 2nd down situations on that drive, but the Britons hit some big pass plays to eat up those yards in a hurry, and that was a very impressive drive by the Brits to answer. Very impressive.
Walker again with Davis back deep, and they will kick this ball to Davis again, who runs up on it looking into the sun now at the 10, at the 20, and the Brits drop him at the 21.
Rodriguez, who else?
I'll tell you what, that young fella, it's good to have that 5th-year senior back here in the gold and purple again this year, isn't it, huh?
Again, just everywhere. You talk about football players who have a nose for the ball. I know it's a tired cliche, but anywhere the play, anywhere the ball is, Rodriguez is there.
Rodriguez leads the team in tackles, and that's one of the reasons why, because he hardly ever comes off the field when the other team has the football, whether it's special teams or playing that linebacker spot that he's so well known for here at Albion.
We'll update some individual stats when we get a moment here.
Nutter back at the running back spot. He's to the left of the quarterback. They'll turn and hand it to him. He'll come straight up the middle. Blitz did come that time. Anarod came from the top. He got down along the ankles and slowed him down right at the line of scrimmage, so it'll be no gain on the run. 1st or 2nd down now and 10. And, Jim, you called a little while ago a blitz. This time it was a run blitz.
Yep, that's what you have to do. I mean, they had a lot of success. It seems like it's every other drive. The Britons get the edge on defense, and then the Bulldogs. So if you're a Britons fan, you have to hope this is that drive where the defensive line gets the push.
Nutter again, the running back to the right of the quarterback. Single receiver to the top, single to the bottom. They'll hand to Nutter, sweeping towards the home sideline. And then he cuts it back in just around the end to the 35, leans forward to about the 36, maybe the 37. Give him about 5. And it'll set up a 2nd down now, or 3rd down and 5, as Jacob Wickens was the young guy that made the tackle for the Britons.
Kyle Thomas, 5 of 6 for 93 yards and a touchdown. Zarnecki, the leading rusher, with only 5 yards but a touchdown. Poor has 55 yards on 1 catch. Koski 19, Marlon Martin 13. Zarnecki has a 6-yard reception as well.
Stewart back in the lineup, but they're going to throw this time. 3rd down right across the middle to Stewart in the center of the football field. He's got the 1st down. He'll advance it up to the 45-yard line before they knock him out at the 45. That'll be a 1st down. So Stewart, they faked the ball to him in the backfield, and he just ran a little slant right across the middle of the football field and sat down.
Well-designed play by the Bulldogs right there. The wideouts all ran streak patterns, opened up that middle part of the field. And again, you respect the run so much that you go up to the line and you challenge, and they got burned.
Fry wide to the visitor's side. McCall in the slot up there. Again, Stewart, the running back to the right of the quarterback. They'll turn and hand it to him again. Emmanuel comes straight up the middle of the football field. He broke through a tackle. He's at midfield, and he's into Britt's territory.
Fumble.
The ball's loose. Did the whistle blow before the ball came out?
Might have had his forward progress stopped.
Rodriguez makes the tackle for the Britons. The ball came loose at around the Britons' 48-yard line, but I'm just totally amazed at the way that young fella can step through that hole, step out of tackles, and keep that football moving forward. 7 yards on the first down run. Stewart gets second down now and 3 as the ball at the 48-yard line of the Britons. 8:53 to play second quarter. Britons up 20-7 for the Britons Football Network. Stewart sweeps left side. Oh boy, he just about got around the end. Nice job by the Britons 94 Sean Kubit Miller to get down there and grab that ankle, because if he would have gotten around that corner, I think he had enough to maybe make it a foot race.
Yeah.
First down, ball on the 44-yard line.
And again, just gifted feet by that young man, Jim, like you said, stepping out of tackles.
Doubles top and bottom. Nutter in the running back now to the left of the quarterback. They'll fake it to him. Throw that little screen pass to the slant receiver.
Ooh, nice
That's
move.
McGall. McGall then cuts it back into the center of the football field, inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line. Nice pickup on that first down, almost 9.
Been quite a few years. I'll make this kind of obscure reference, but that was very reminiscent of what the Indianapolis Colts receivers used to do, Jim. They'd get just enough for that first down, and then they'd die before they'd take any contact. So smart move right there. Save his body, has the first down, keeps the drive going.
Doubles go to the top this time, single to the bottom as they give you a slightly different look. Nutter in the backfield to the left of the quarterback, and they will throw this one. Euchre drops, throws to his outlet man, and I'll tell you what, that was one of those low floaters that was going out there, and Trey Edwards had to make up his mind. Am I going to knock this guy down, or am I going for the ball? Caleb Vanderlut was the young man that caught the football. He got nowhere, and if that would have hung for another half a second, I think...
Or if he would have waited just a half second longer to throw it. Yep.
That ball would have gone the other way, too. But again, really kind of a difficult situation for the Brits defender as to whether he makes that step and potentially allows that to go the other way.
Well, it's an all or nothing play.
It sure was, and I think he made a smart play there. Third down and 2 right now for Adrian. They'll turn and hand to Nutter. Nutter around the right end. He's still on his feet after he crosses the 35, and he gets knocked down at the 33. That'll be plenty for the first down.
I think that was Anarod on the tackle coming in a run support, but not before the Bulldogs move the chains as we dip down to about 7 minutes to play in the first half, with the Britons leading 20-7 on the Britons Football Network.
Kind of an interesting football Saturday afternoon as we're looking right into the sun now as the Adrian Bulldogs going right to left. If you're listening to us on your computer screen here at this point in time. Stewart back in the running back spot. He's to the right of the quarterback. They'll hand it to him. He's coming right up the center of the field. This time not much room. He'll get a yard, maybe 2. And now we have some pushing and shoving going on inside.
You got to call that. I get that it's chippy, but that second shove right there with the extended arms in full view of the official. Come on.
73, Eric McDonald was the guy that made the push.
That was in full view of the official at the end of that play, too. Come on.
Went unnoticed there by the guys wearing the striped shirts here this afternoon.
Well, giving them probably a friendly reminder at this point, though.
I would hope so, at least.
You get it out of your system, one more, and we're throwing the flag.
Stewart again to the left this time, the quarterback. They'll hand it to him, and he goes straight up the middle again for the draw. Nothing fancy about this offense, man. They like to run between the tackles.
Nope, and that's just faith in the offensive line, and the offensive line, for the most part today, has definitely justified that trust.
Stewart got 3 on that carry. Give him 2, make it third down and 6.
And again, not necessarily an obvious passing situation, although the last time the Bulldogs were in this type of situation heading the opposite direction in a red zone opportunity, they ended up throwing a pick 6. So
Bulldogs are on the Britons' 29-yard line, and now they bring 4 wide receivers in. They send 2 to the top, 2 to the bottom, receivers in the slot on both sides. Stewart, the only back in the backfield. They'll fake it to him, throw that little flanker screen over to the home sideline. They've got it. That's McCaw, and McGaw is ahead for a first down as he's down to the 20-yard line.
Well-designed play. The second time they've run that play to that very receiver in that very spot right there. Flanker screen. And another first down.
McGaw, another one of those guys that these coaches really like. 5'7", 150 pounds. Both of these teams like these real quick diminutive type fellows in that backfield, and that slot receiver's job being played pretty well right now by McGaw. They'll fake the ball to Stewart. Now here comes pressure. Quarterback throws long and is knocked away down around the 10-yard line.
Playing with fire right there, Jim.
Euchre had a little bit of trouble on his hands, and he just decided to throw that one up, headed it towards the visitor sideline into a whole bunch of people down around the 10. And it's amazing nobody was able to get any hands on it. It'll go incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
They had the defender with his back turned to the ball right there, but able to get that hand up. I think he did get a deflection at the very end and got his head turned around. Definitely not a pretty-looking play, but no damage for the Bulldogs.
2nd down and 10. The ball on the Britons' 20-yard line right now. Adrian trying to close the gap as they trail 20-7 here on the Britain Sports Network. Euchre again in the backfield. He'll hand to Stewart, and they'll go student body right. Then he cuts it back towards the middle of the football field, and he'll get about 5 yards before they gets knocked down by Jacob Wickens.
Has such quick moves, quick cuts. He headed right that time and then just stops on a dime and is able to cut back up towards the middle. Very impressive runner, Jim. He can take the contact, but again, like you said earlier, can step out of those tackles.
He'll come to the sideline, and Nutter comes back in. He's to the left of the quarterback right now as they line up in the pistol look with doubles top and bottom.
A little bit of jumping action on the D line right there, but didn't get across the line of scrimmage.
Euchre back in that pistol. Turns, hands to Nutter. Nutter off right tackle. He's going to be close to that 1st down.
Mark him at about the 12.
Down inside the 15. If it's the 12 or 13, he's going to be a couple of short.
Yep, 4th and 2. As we are hitting 3:45 to play in the first half. Britons lead 20-7 on homecoming night at Adrian College.
Fullerton and Good, the two guys that made the tackle for the Britons on that running play. And as you said, 3rd time now that they're going to go for it on 4th down. 4th down and 2.
Yeah, this is a touchdown game, Jim.
And we have a timeout now called by Adrian because they had, maybe it's Albion. It's going to go towards Albion, and I think that was probably a smart idea.
He pointed towards that side of the field, but he was pointing towards the bench. So, again, folks listening to the audio broadcast, we appreciate you tuning in wherever you are around the country and around the world. We'll paint this picture for you. Homecoming evening at Adrian College. If you look left to right, just trust us, look left to right, there are people as far as the eye can see. It is a beautiful sight, beautiful evening for Division III football in the MIAA. And you look across the field and you see a great contingent of Britain fans as well. So we call this a well-attended game, Jim Funderburg.
Whole bunch of purple and gold sitting over there looking as eyeball to eyeball right now. James F. Thomas Pavilion to our left. And that hill there behind that end zone is just full of folks. And then there's a bunch of people down along the end zone on the Adrian sideline here, to the point where you cannot really see anything on that corner from the 3-yard line down. So that was so tough to call that one play in the end zone for Marlon Martin, and also then for the touchdown that Emmanuel Stewart got, because he ran in front of basically a wall as far as we could see.
Jim, the Albion College men's soccer team completes the first half of MIAA action with a home game against Calvin College at 7 p.m. Tuesday night at Alumni Field. That's Albion versus Calvin this Tuesday at 7 o'clock.
4th and 2, Stewart on the football field again. He'll be the single running back in the backfield. They'll send triples to the wide side of the field, which is the home side now. They'll send Fry all by himself to the top of the football field.
Call the play, run or pass.
4th down and 2, it's a run. Stewart's going to run this thing. That's my guess. How's that? Hand the ball to Stewart. He'll sweep left side.
He's
going nowhere. Austin Lynn says, hey, let's step through this big old hole and knock you down for a loss of about 4 and get this football back for the guys in the purple and the gold.
Now, Jim, I think what's going to happen is there's going to be some conspiracy theorist who thinks that they have your audio wired into their headset and that we're somehow
I'm
calling
psychic.
The plays. But
if you didn't know, if you didn't realize, and you've been watching us now for a couple of years, Jim Bellamy and I are both psychics. We do that as a profession from Monday through Friday. We do football on the weekends.
Yeah.
Nice job that time by the Britons there to be able to see that coming. And Sean Kubit-Miller and Austin Lynn and Dallas Reynolds on that front line have done a wonderful job today.
I had to get another job, Jim. My psychic thing wasn't quite paying the bills.
Ball goes to the 15-yard line now of the Britons with 3:22 to play, and they come out with their offense.
Big stop right there.
Zarnecki, the running back, to the right of the quarterback right now. They've got triples here on the home side, on the short side of the field, and they're going to throw. Thomas up the sideline. Ooh, it's behind him, and I'll tell you what, if he led that throw to Sean Koski up the football field, that might have been a big play. Koski on a little up and in at about the 35-yard line, and I think Thomas was expecting him to go out.
Yep.
That ball went behind him a little bit, but boy, if he could have thrown that ball where it needed to be, Koski behind both the guys in the gold and black.
And also had the defender wrong-footed right there. So it would have been a foot race, and I don't think it would have been close.
Doubles top and bottom. Again, they'll go back to the ground, and the run would come out to close to the 18-yard line. Zarnecki with the run up to about the 18-yard line.
Zarnecki took a nasty hit right there, too. Kind of had his body turned around from the direction he was headed, and you always hold your breath hoping that it isn't a foot getting stuck in the turf. But he was able to pop back up without a problem. Brings up a 3rd and long.
4-yard pickup there. It's 3rd down now and 6. Britons have doubles on both sides. Zarnecki to the left of Thomas in the backfield in the pistol. Thomas drops to throw. He's got time. He lobs it to Zarnecki, and that's got to be a little bit of interference. They didn't call it.
Yep.
Oh, I'll tell you, the Adrian player face guarded him all the way, never turned around. Steven St. Crier hit him in the back of the helmet as he was basically both hands in the air, shielding the ball from Zarnecki. If there's never been a better picture of pass interference, well, I have not seen it. Maybe.
I think that was actually I think that was the exact purpose of that throw. He was hoping to put a little more air under it, where the defender would have had to make contact and made that official decision even easier.
That official just decided he wasn't calling something there, because he had no idea where the ball was, and it hit him in the back of the arms as he had him up.
Fumble.
Ball was muffed down around the 35-yard line, then picked back up at the 38-yard line. That's that McGall that was trying to get to it. Lost it maybe in the sun at about the 36, was able to scoop it up and bring it to the 38, where he got tackled there by the Britons.
Jaron McGaw on that return right there. Again, it cannot be easy trying to field a kick or a punt, or even looking back into the sun, depending on what direction you're running. I don't envy those young men on that field.
Sun really to their right or to their left, as it's going pretty much right over the top of the visitors' bleachers right now. If you've been here before, you understand what we're talking about.
Just a beautiful, beautiful stadium.
And the Bulldogs now with the football back in 2:28 to play. They have 2 timeouts to work with.
They called one, I believe, on the first drive, if I remember.
Nutter, the running back in the backfield, they fake it to him. They'll throw that little screen pass to McGaw again on the front of their home sideline, and he'll scamper his way out of bounds at about midfield.
Again, you see at the end of those runs, you said 5'7", 150, whatever. Body not really built to absorb a lot of contact, so he's going to use his speed. He's going to get where he needs to get, and then he's going to get out of bounds before he takes the hit. I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to get hit either.
He's in the slot right now on the visitor's side, along with 2 of his friends, as they send triples up to the top, single receiver on the bottom. They'll fake the ball to Nutter, throw the ball, and I'll tell you what, number 4, Randy Fry, he was blocking. He was expecting that ball to come around that end. He never turned around, and it just went to the sideline with nobody touching the football. 2nd down and 10.
Fortunate there for the Bulldogs, though, that the defender, Michael Harvey, for the Britons, was also getting ready to engage in the block. Had he seen the receiver not go for the ball, might have tried to make a break on it.
Triples again to the top, the visitor's sideline. Single right in front of us. Again, Stewart, the only running back, to the right of the quarterback. They're going to throw again. Here comes the blitz. Euchre steps away from it, and he finds his guy in Britons' territory at the 35-yard line.
What could have been?
Oh, man, the Brits missed a big one right there. I think that was Dallas Reynolds that went around him.
What could have been? Had him by the feet right there, but didn't have a good shot. And big guy.
Yeah, he is 6'6".
Yeah, you're not gonna bring him down by the tops of his shoes.
Euchre hands off to Stewart. Left side, he's got room, 20-yard line, and a touchdown saving tackle by Anarot at the 19-yard line.
That's exactly what the Bulldogs need. Try to close the first half. Again, though, the Brits get the ball to start the second half. Adrian College won the toss and elected to receive. So there won't be a 2-for-1 opportunity here, but the Bulldogs don't really care so much about that. They're just looking to put the ball in the end zone one more time.
Stewart to the right as they fake the ball to him. Throw again, that little screen pass to McCall on the right side. He broke a tackle. He's up the sideline inside the 10 to the 5. Boy, it looked like he was going to be stopped dead right in the backfield. Missed a tackle by the Britons. Back around the 15-yard line, and he's all the way inside the 5-yard line, I believe, or he's
about
close to it.
4-yard line they're marking him, it looks like. Again, 1:15 to play, 2 timeouts. Run, pass, basically anything you want to call at this point, you can. I think they're gonna run this one, Jim.
Nutter in the football game again. He's got Caleb Vanderlet with him in front of him.
This is where you're encouraging as the play clock's running down.
They have Foster Walker here
Whoa,
wide
yeah,
to the
the
left
play clock
side.
was at 0, so either they didn't reset it or we have a delay game. I think they were trying to reset it. I saw the official in the end zone give the signal to reset, and I don't believe they did.
So
this would just be a dead ball.
Play clock did run out with 1:14 to play, but I think you're right, Jim. They're going to come back here and reset that clock.
I don't see a flag, so.
Well,
We have no foul on the play. We needed to get the ball down with 25 seconds on the play clock. That didn't happen.
okay, now hold it a minute. I got one referee moving this thing 5 yards back, and I got another one calling no foul on this play.
Well, again, Jim, I was looking
Interesting,
at
but I think you're right, Jimmy. I think they did not get everything set
properly.
properly.
The official in the end zone sees the play clock go in the opposite direction, did give the signal to about 3 on the play clock to reset, but they did not do it.
I formation goes to Nutter. Nutter's leaping towards the end zone. Did he get enough?
I think he did.
David Nutter on the carry.
We have to wait till they unpile them. They're right at the goal line if they didn't get in. And when they take everybody up, they've not signaled yet.
He's short.
So he's going to be short by a foot or so down at that goal line. And we're under a minute now to play in this first half.
You can't wait that long to make that call.
Nutter again in an I formation. Euchre goes under center. Will he sneak it this time? No, handed to Nutter, and this time he'll have plenty of push to get in off the left side. So with 41 ticks left on the clock here in the first half, the Bulldogs have made it a 20-13 game with the extra point coming.
Again, if you're wondering, just tuned in, why the Brits are at 20, the first extra point was blocked. So they have put 3 touchdowns on the board. Second touchdown of the game by the Bulldogs. And this is kind of reminiscent of Adrian's game last week, Jim.
Cameron Cook with the extra point. And the try is just absolutely perfect as, again, it lands up on the roof of the James F. Thomas Pavilion. So the Britons will have 41 seconds left to try to counter that one. They do have 2 timeouts, and it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens here.
I think it all depends on the return.
Yep.
What do you suppose the magic yard line is to do 30, 35?
Nah, you know what? Knowing the way that the coach does things, okay?
Yeah, probably anywhere, right?
I think anywhere you got it, as long as you're on green grass, you're going to see that ball going up in the air. How's that?
I think you're right. Yeah, I don't know.
Something about Coach Craig Rundle that tells me that he was a gambler in another life here or something, because he loves this kind of offense, man. He loves to see this thing moving up and down the field as fast as he possibly can.
Again, as we just mentioned in that last drive, Adrian College wins the opening coin toss and did elect to receive the kick. So the Brits will get the second half kick. So they're in a position now, depending on the return and what happens the next 41.5 seconds, they could possibly get a 2-for-1.
Martin is at the goal line along with Zarnecki. Martin's on the home side, Zarnecki on the visitors' side, as this kick will go from your right to your left here.
Almost wondering if they don't do more of a line drive, trying to get into that middle area.
2 timeouts left for the Britons. Fabry has hit a 39-yarder for his long this year, so maybe he'll get a chance for something a little bit bigger. And you're right, they're going to let it bounce, but they'll let it bounce all the way back to Zarnecki at the 5-yard line. He's in the middle of the football field, and he's still moving at the 30. At the 35-yard line, he finally brought down. Yep, with 34.9 seconds left to go in the half.
34.9 and 2 timeouts. And again, I don't see them taking a knee here, Jim.
I don't think so either. I think this is going to be a effort to try to put another score on the board. At least take one shot with 35 seconds and 2 timeouts. Zarnecki will go into the backfield. He'll be to the left of Kyle Thomas. There'll be doubles to the top and the bottom with 2 receivers on each side in the slot.
And the Britons have been able to hit big pass plays so far in this first half.
Thomas will take the ball. He'll fake it to Zarnecki. He'll throw it quickly to Poor on a quick little slant, and it's a little bit low. Colin Poor really did not have a chance to even make a play on that ball. It was thrown at a rocket's pace right down around his ankle at about the 45-yard line.
If he hits him on the numbers, though, Jim, there isn't a defender within 5 yards of him, so there's no doubt he's getting a first down. Probably has that ball up near midfield.
Second down now and 10 as the clock stops with 32.5 seconds to go. Again, Zarnecki to the left of Thomas, and again, doubles on the top and the bottom, and 2 slots on both sides. They'll hand the ball to Zarnecki this time, up the middle of the field. He's got room. He's at midfield. He's into Adrian Bulldog territory at the 46-yard line. That'll be a first down. That'll stop the clock to move the sticks, and we'll see if the coach will take his time out. Yeah, he does.
Yep, and he had 2 to burn. The clock does stop momentarily in college football after you get that first down. But again, it's going to start right away once the official marks it. And so I think a smart timeout right there. Now with 1 timeout, I think you can still probably run it one more time if you want, but I think now you're probably leaning more towards a pass offense.
Had everybody running backwards on their heels when they handed that little draw play off to Zarnecki, and Zarnecki had a nice hole right at the center of the football field. And again, Pat, living up to his namesake, his big brother, did a nice job to get it into Adrian Bulldog territory, and it'd be great to be able to add some points onto this scoreboard here before the half's over and then get the football back to start quarter number 3.
See, the flag's blowing just a little bit, but not a whole lot of wind at field level to speak of. So don't know what we have for a long today for a field goal. Don't know that the Britons really care about a long for a field goal. I think they're thinking touchdown. But now all of a sudden everything gets a little bit more interesting on this drive.
Blanzy and Martin are right in front of us here as we got doubles on the top and the bottom again. Poor is in the slot on the visitors' side, and they'll hand the ball again to Zarnecki. Again, that draw play, and he's at the 40-yard line, maybe the 39. Need to get down so we can whistle this dead at the 20 seconds, and the Brits will probably use their last time out, and they do.
And that was an extremely intelligent move by the Adrian Bulldogs defense right there. Stand him up and keep him, and so you had to burn basically 4 or 5 seconds right there to go nowhere. They didn't mark his forward progress down. They just kind of let that one go. So, again, you just burned basically 4 or 5 seconds. You could have probably got 3 good passes up. Now you're probably looking at about 2.
Second down, Zarnecki got 5, almost 6 on that carry. Ball on the 40-yard line of the Adrian Bulldogs, and we're down to 9 seconds left to play here in this first half. Brits now out of timeouts. But they do have a 6-point lead, 20-14. And again, Jim, if nothing else, it'd be nice to be able to see 3 go up on that board here before they have to wipe out that blocked missed extra point there on that first touchdown.
You don't want to be in a position where you have to chase points in the second half.
Martin's one-on-one here on the home side. Let's see if he's going to get a throw to his direction this time. Triples to the top. Thomas looks, and he is looking to Martin. Martin running that post pattern, but he's got too many people around him. Now Thomas will have to run. He's in the middle of the football field, 20-yard line, 15-yard line, needs a block at the 15, and that's 9 seconds. They'll stop the clock to move the chains.
Got a clock.
And the Brits right at the line of scrimmage waiting to clock this one with the football on the 15-yard line of the Adrian Bulldogs. Nice job by Thomas to elude everybody trying to get to him. And they'll start the play, and they'll spike the ball. Boy, that took forever for those guys to set that football.
Yeah,
These
Coach
officials
Rundle
around
livid.
here, they are just absolutely, and I don't blame him.
It's not Rundle, that's the OC, but
didn't hear anything. We were waiting and waiting and waiting for somebody to whistle that play into motion.
Yeah, that was terrible.
And they just stood there
5
waiting.
seconds.
Ball at the 15-yard line. Let's see if the play actually will stand.
There you go.
There you go.
You can't run 5 seconds off on a spike, Jim. Come on. I don't care how itchy the trigger finger is on the button right there.
Clock had gone down to 4.2, and the Brits are going to run one more play
and
here.
Hurrying up to the line of scrimmage.
Hey, hold on a minute. We got to get the clock set back up to where it needs to be here. Right now, the game clock's at 4.2. Now Jim Deere's getting his opportunity to have a little conversation with the referee.
Sure.
Don't blame him on that one.
No, not at all.
Sitting down, having a little conversation at the 25-yard line here on our side. There are 3 officials around them.
But there's no way if the official gives you the signal from that time to the time you clock it that it takes 5 seconds.
Yeah,
there's no way.
It took forever to blow the whistle to signal the play start.
They still haven't reset the clock. Nobody's saying anything.
There we go. Now it's back up to 9.
Okay.
9 seconds to go. Now the Britons want their moment in the sun here with Mr. Referee. And they'll bring him on their sideline to chat just a minute. This shouldn't take quite as long, I don't think, because they've got the clock back where they want it at least right now. Still no timeouts. Second down on the 15-yard line of Adrian.
Obviously, you have to put this one in the end zone. Probably have time to run 2 pass plays.
Thomas comes out. Now we're moving it from 9 to 7, and I can go along with that too. It takes a little bit of time to get the snap and throw the ball. And they're going to clock it again.
Why do they have to clock it again?
Okay, Adrian takes a timeout, and the whole place gets to take a big, deep breath right now before the end of this half.
Well, then that down doesn't count, right?
I would think that didn't count, and I would be surprised if the Britons don't bring a field goal team on this out of this huddle right now with 9 seconds, no timeouts.
I take a shot.
Oh, I know you would, but I'd bring Fabry in here, make this 23-14, and head into that locker room with a big smile on my face right at this point in time.
What if you score?
Well, if you score, you do. But what if you catch it on the 1?
Well, then you're forever known as Derek Mason.
There you
right?
go. That's the key. So who knows what's going to happen? But we will see. They're still huddling on the Britain sideline and on the Adrian sideline, and
I see a 99, Jimbo. So I believe they're sending the special teams out.
I think that's a smart choice. I really do.
Yep.
I know what you like to do. I know you're a riverboat gambler and all that kind of good stuff. But with 7 seconds, there's so many things that can go wrong.
Yep.
And with this, you're at the 15-yard line. You're going to spot it on the left hash mark at the 22, make it a 32-yard try.
And again, not only could you get stopped short, but you could also get a holding penalty.
Yeah,
trying to protect your quarterback. So that'd take you out of field goal range. Then you'd pretty much, your half would be over.
Crowd is on their feet here at Adrian.
And the clock will not start on the wind, just the play clock.
Here comes the snap. It's a good one. The placement is good. The kick looks like it's heading in the right direction, and it is. And just like that, the Brits, with 2.4 seconds left to go in the first half, stretch this lead to 9, 23-14. What a great drive by the Britons to get that job done.
And the Britons also, again, Jim, received the second half kick.
Yeah.
So they did get a 2-for-1 right there. I can, but I can't at the same time believe that they were able to drive that far and put themselves in that kind of position. So hats off to the Britons offense right there. Excellent execution. Got a little dicey with that.
7 plays, 61 yards, and they ran it in 1 minute and 46 seconds. And the kick, they got that on a little bit. They got David Nutter with a 1-yard run and a Cameron kick, which is good. So we'll go. That's the last one. So the last one they have got put up yet, but. That was, 40-some seconds on that play, wasn't it?
Yep, 40-some seconds, and they started at the 35, so they got out to 38, 39 yards, I believe, total on that drive, or no, 49?
35, 15, and 15, another 25, so you got a 40-yard drive.
Yeah, about 40.
About 46 seconds.
50-yard drive, they say.
There you go. 32-yard field goal. 6 plays, 50 yards, 32 seconds. Good job by this stats folks. A little bouncer that will be picked up at the 15-yard line. McCall has it. He's in the middle of the football field, and he has Britons all around him, and he'll go down at the 39-yard line as the zeros go to triple on the scoreboard clock here at Adrian College. We're at halftime right now. Britons on top, 23-14 over the Bulldogs. We're going to take a quick little break here and grab some stats and get back here to give you some of the halftime stats in just a minute or two. I'll let my engineer, Mr. Ken Reeker, get his act together. You got something over there we can play for a minute or two, Ken? Some violin music or something like that? Maybe we can play some of the favorite songs of the Britain Bulldog battle from the last 100 years. All right, we'll step away. Britons on top, 23-14, halftime here from the Bulldogs, the home of the Bulldogs, Adrian College.
on the Pleiad.
The Ford Institute.
Varsity lacrosse.
I'm involved in Albion College Student Senate.
I really like that I'm in charge of what I do. I get to pick the articles I write and when I want to do things and when I want to get involved, so it's really nice to have everything at my own disposal.
My favorite thing about my involvement is the connections.
Definitely the team.
I've met a lot of really great people at Albion College and Student Senate.
People I wouldn't have associated with otherwise who really have, I think, enriched my educational experience.
They're like a family, all like brothers.
Often it's said in terms of the alumni and job connections you have afterwards, which are important, but I like the connections that I've made on campus.
I've had a relationship with the faculty and staff and with the community now through this organization.
I wouldn't be as involved as I am with the community.
I think my time management skills would be worse.
I wouldn't be as involved in the community. I wouldn't go to as many school events.
Slack off on my homework, not to be as organized.
I have no friends.
Overall, I wouldn't meet any new people.
Like, I do a lot of things in downtown Albion along with on campus, and I talk to all different types of people, and without it I wouldn't be as experienced as I am.
I mean, it really, like anything that you're involved here, it just really, it makes the experience so much more rich. And it's really actually hard to imagine not being involved away, but I can't even imagine.
I wouldn't be as happy as I am at Albion College.
Yes.
Of course.
Definitely.
1,000 times yes.
Please have a seat. I'll be honest. Your resume is not what I'm used to.
I know.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need a hard worker.
Good. I've got 2 part-time jobs and to help my parents pay the bills.
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find, cultivate, and train a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
I guess I just assumed that like college classes would be pretty identical to high school classes, so like you would just have to be able to just show up every day and just do your work, and then like you'd be well off. And it ended up being that way. Like if you show up to class every day and you do your work, you'd be like well off. I guess I must assume that like also if you don't show up that you can still be on good terms, but like it doesn't work like that. I came from a high school where, I had pretty tough classes, but, it's college, so things are a step up. And I was kind of worried, but once I kind of got acclimated to the environment, it was pretty easy and pretty fun, but, there are still challenging times. It's about time management and just kind of getting it done.
I think the best part about the Britain Path was definitely having a mentor there to help me, because she was the same major as I am right now, so she's taken all the classes that I was taking at that time.
The biggest advantage most definitely would have to be the structure. Because I played sports, I was able to I had to find a way to organize my time. And the Britain Path gave me pretty much a schedule on how to keep everything organized. And without that organization, I probably wouldn't have been able to get through my first couple of semesters. It's real easy to get lost your freshman year here, especially with all the workload that comes with it. The biggest advantage was having a tutor. He really helped me kind of sit down and map out my first semester and allowed me to, be successful at the things that I was doing.
I don't think I would have made it through first semester without the Britain Path.
Quite honestly, I would not be where I am today without the Britain Path program. So Britain Path definitely was something that I'm glad I did. Definitely something that has helped me get to where I am in the college right now. I'm doing very well in my classes. In my professional career, I definitely believe that it will help. It's just something that builds upon itself.
Being in the Britain Path definitely helped me make time management skills through going to classes, practice, and having time to study in the end for my classes so I could pass.
I never made an agenda before college, and the Britain Path program taught me how to make an agenda and how to follow that to the T. So that honestly is what made me successful in college.
And we're back here at Docking Stadium on the campus of Adrian College, and good afternoon so far of football. We're at halftime. Britain's on top 23-14 here at the half, and it is homecoming today, so homecoming festivities going on right at this point in time. Mr. Bellamy's working on some stats at this moment, and we're also going to grab us a little refreshment here at the halftime break. So we're going to take another 5 minutes or so and come back with the first half stats, get you ready for the second half. Britain's on top 23-14 here in Adrian on the Britain's Football Network.
To be able to start a season like this and swim a 5K with my teammates, hundreds of miles away, it's a lot of fun. It's a really cool experience.
One of the things that we want to continue to do in this program, when you look back and reflect on your experience, we want to make sure that it's positive. And sometimes that's in the pool, sometimes that's in a lake. And I think some of the great stories too, with great friendships that you have, especially with a group that's as close as ours, are just kind of some of the random things.
It's really exciting. The fact that we're the first girls team that gets to go is very cool. It's a fun way to stay motivated to train throughout the summer and to have something to look forward to right when you get back to campus. To be in the water with everyone going to this meet, it's going to be really exciting.
There's no walls in a lake. There's no opportunity for push-offs or streamlines. Mac and I will get in and swim where there's no lane lines in an open water type field. It's a lot different when you're in the water in a lake for over an hour just swimming. It's different, but it's a rewarding experience.
It's very different. The fact that you don't have a set course you're going on, you have to make sure you spot, or you could be swimming an extra mile off the side. It's very hard. It's just very different, the fact that you're not in a pool going straight. You're turning, you're curving, but it's definitely interesting and more fun, I think, to do that.
I feel close with all my teammates, but I felt like there was always that kind of special bond, having trained and put forth all this effort before season, going into that meet, and then being there to kind of root for each other the rest of the way. And then having one of those teammates being my sister, I feel like that's a really cool experience. Having those teammates there with me really makes it worthwhile.
it's really exciting to be with him. It's his senior year, and so it's very cool to have kind of this one last thing that we get to share together.
I think the thing that makes this event unique is, you've got to qualify for it. Kyle and Mac and Sebastian Tostado had just a great experience out there. It brought them together early in the year. Even in the preseason, the three of them got together and trained and worked hard and were focused on it. The experience that those guys had really generated a lot of interest for a lot of the other people on the team to want to go to this meet.
The seasons are long, but you only have so many of them. Getting a little sentimental going into my senior year, but definitely it's a unique experience and one that you don't get to do over the course of a normal season.
And I think that's exciting to me. I think it's a testament to the experience that the three guys that we sent out last year had, as well as the commitment to the distance program that we have here at college.
It's a cool stage to swim on.
To go in with a positive attitude and just get excited to try to represent my team well and have fun.
There will be more competition D3-wise, but definitely the expectation is to still be at the top, Mac and I both, and our teammates as well.
The development of the program is ongoing and constant.
Back out at halftime, Jim Bellamy giving you the first half stats as the Albion Britons lead the Adrian Bulldogs 23-14. It was a dominating first half in terms of statistics for the Bulldogs. However, they trail by 9 on the scoreboard. They have 262 yards on 51 plays compared to 151 yards on 18 plays by the Brits. 176 on the ground and 86 through the air compared to 58 on the ground for the Brits and 93 through the air. Individual statistics for the home team. Clayton Euchre, 8 of 11 with 86 yards and a pick 6, which brought the opening drive to an abrupt halt. Emmanuel Stewart, tremendous job in the first half, 22 carries for 116 yards and a touchdown. David Nutter, 18 carries for 67 yards and a touchdown as well. John McGraw leads all receivers as we expected. 6 catches for 56 yards, and Stewart and Vanderloot have 1 catch apiece. On defense for the Bulldogs, Chris Adams has 3 total tackles. Austin Davis and Fuller with 2 tackles apiece. For the Brits, Kyle Thomas, 5 of 9 through the air for 93 yards and a touchdown. Patrick Zarnicki leads the rushers, 5 carries, 36 yards and a score. Thomas kept the ball 2 times for 25, and Elverson Mitchell, 1 carry for 2 yards through the air. 55 yards for Poor. Martin, 2 for 13 and a touch. Koski, 1 for 19, and Zarnicki, 1 for 6. On defense, Honorat with 12 tackles. Jose Rodriguez with 11. Reynolds with 9, and Austin Lynn for 7. Scoring recap goes like this. First quarter, Michael Harvey, the 81-yard interception return. The extra point was blocked, and that gives the visiting Britons a 6-0 lead. They then add on to that lead with a 10-yard touchdown pass. Marlon Martin from Kyle Thomas. The kick was good, and that was as a result of a blocked punt. So they only had to travel 12 yards for that second score. Adrian College then responds with a 2-yard touchdown run by Emmanuel Stewart near the start of the second quarter, and Albion responds, and then it was a back-and-forth contest from that point. Zarnicki with a 7-yard touchdown run midway through quarter number 2 made it 20-7. The Bulldogs answer with a 1-yard touchdown run. 42 seconds left in the half by David Nutter. That capped off a 7-play, 61-yard drive. 20-14. The Britons respond with a good kick return and a couple of key plays downfield as they get a 32-yard field goal by Andrew Fabry, and that capped a 6-play, 50-yard drive that only took 32 seconds. And that gives us your score at the half. Jim Funderburg 23-14. And again, Adrian College wins the opening toss, and they elected to receive, so the Brits got the 3 at the end of the half. Now they'll see if they can put up an additional 3 or maybe a 7.
Be nice to be able to open this second half up with 7 and get back in control of this football game a little bit, because I'll tell you what, that Adrian offense, it's a tough one, Jim. I mean, they can run that football, and then all of a sudden you asked about throwing the ball. Well, they run it enough on you that you do have to start to worry a little bit more about the running plays. and they can throw. They have some very decent receivers out there. Been very much impressed by Jaron McGall here this afternoon. 6 catches, 56 yards. Longest was 16. And an interesting situation here this afternoon for the Britons here. So we've got about 5 minutes before we're going to start the second half. We're going to step away one more time, give you just a slight respite from me and Jimmy, and we'll come back and set up the start of the third quarter for you right after this on the Britain Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Mara Kabodian, and that's me swinging from a rope in Costa Rica. I'm currently a senior at Albion College, and you're about to see a pretty fun and exciting week for me here. Let's start with the weekend. My sorority, Alpha Chi Omega, participated in a synchronized swimming competition called Anchor Splash, where we took a surprising second place, and my family came to support me too. Later that night, we had a mixer with one of the fraternities on campus with my Greek family. After all the fun I had that weekend, it was time to hit the library and focus on the week ahead. Monday morning brought us a few inches of snow, which is a beautiful sight around campus. That's my house. It's called the Owl House, and I can't imagine living anywhere else my senior year. A few of my friends and I decided to go sledding in a nearby park, and it was a good time. Next, we went to Albion's men's basketball game, where my friends danced at halftime. Albion even won the game. Later that night, some of my best friends and I went to Cascarelli's for a night of karaoke fun. We ate cookies after. On Tuesday, I went to my ethnic studies class called Hip Hop and Social Change, which is my favorite class this semester. Next, my friend Lauren and I went to health services because we were not feeling well, and Susie the nurse made us laugh. Then, I went to my human services class where we learned the importance of mental health. Later that night, my sorority teamed up with another sorority to make blankets for a local domestic violence shelter. The next day, I made cinnamon rolls and then went to work at the Career and Internship Center, and then went back to the library to study. After I got my homework done, I decided to make my famous eggplant parmesan gist with my friends, and Eva delivered some to friends at work. Thursday, I went to both of my classes before a fun night of bowling at the alley in town. The next morning, my best friend Tara and I hit the road to Chicago, where we stayed with an Albion alum and friend before heading to the airport on spring break. We were heading to Costa Rica, but have a 7-hour layover in Houston, where another Albion alum took us out to brunch. With full bellies, we headed to Costa Rica, where we spent a week snorkeling, sailing, whitewater rafting, hiking, and ziplining. We made great memories with more to come as I wrap up my senior year as a Brit. Yo Triumphi!
Wonderberg along with Jim Bellamy as we're getting ready to play football in the second half. And that sun, I forgot how nasty it gets as the night goes on. It's dropping and setting in obviously the way it's supposed to in the west. And we're looking dead center right in the west, right in our eyeballs right now. So it'll be one of those keep your hand up like you do on a sunny day and keep looking down the road.
Just don't do that if you're sitting at home listening to the audio stream right now.
Yeah.
Holding your hand up in front of your face, because people will just look at you.
They will kind of wonder.
Yeah, they'll just, what are you doing?
Hey, people
really,
can shout out today, can't they, Jim, huh?
Yeah, we appreciate getting a shout out. Let me pull that screen back up. Tracy Kreiderman, watching from Sault Ste. Marie, says, "Go Brits, we are especially rooting for number 51, O-lineman Chase Bouchard, and from his mom and dad and grandparents and Uncle Lee visiting from Wisconsin. Go Brits." So thank you so much, Tracy, for writing in, and thank you for listening. It's a special audio stream today, and it's our privilege and pleasure to bring this contest to you.
And again, if somebody would want to toss us a message out yet this afternoon, Jimmy, what's the address? Do you have that anywhere handy?
Let's see.
I do not. We'll get that for you, and our engineer just walked out to grab something here real quick.
I think it's webcast@albion.edu.
There you go, webcast@albion.edu, and we'll go with that one right now. Brits will get the football to open up the third quarter.
Jim, real quick, as far as the conference goes, I still don't have an updated score beyond 44-7 for Trine. 42-20, Hope defeats Olivet on the road. Alma defeats Kalamazoo at home 30-10. And, of course, your score here, getting ready to start quarter number 3, is 23-14, Albion College.
So the Britons about ready to get the second half kickoff here as we open up the third quarter. Moore will be on the visitors' side at about the 2-yard line. And Pat Zarnecki back here at about the 10 on the home side as they wait for the kick here from Cameron Cook. 15 on the clock. We've got 30 left to play unless we go OT. And we're looking forward to 2 great quarters of football as the kick gets bounced to Moore at the 5, straight up the middle. 20. Cuts it now towards the Adrian sideline. Now he tries to reverse his field again at the 25, and he'll be going nowhere. Mark him at about the 25-yard line. Give the Brits the football, first down and 10.
Join the Albion men's and women's soccer teams in addition to football next Saturday. Men's soccer has an 11 a.m. kick against Trine. Women's soccer kicks at 4:30 also against Trine. So you can go check out a little soccer on the men's side, head over, catch some football, and then head right back over, catch some women's soccer. It's going to be a busy Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Next Saturday at Albion College.
Bobby Lee going to be moving all over the place. Colin Poor in the slot on the home side. Martin on the wide receiver here as they go doubles with Zarnecki in the backfield. Pistol look there for Thomas. Zarnecki to his left as he gets the snap. He will fake the ball to Zarnecki and call his own number. He'll head around the right corner for a short pickup, maybe a yard, possibly 2.
Fortunate there was no hold on that play, Jim. I saw the offensive line to the right-hand side of the quarterback got again under the shoulder pads and was kind of
wrestling a little bit.
Like John Madden always used to say, you can call holding on pretty much every play. So
Stephen St. Cyr was the young man that got the tackle there. Britt still with the doubles. They'll send Zarnecki in motion now and throw the ball right across the middle. 2 Britons there, and neither one of them got it. I think that something wrong there is Blanzy and Koski right there in the same spot at the 38-yard line, and they basically took the football away from one another. As Blanzy was cutting on a little crossing pattern, and Koski had sat down waiting for that ball to be thrown at him. Blanzy cut in front of him at the last second. Neither one could get the football. 3rd down now and 8 for the Britons. Triples here on the home side. Single guy at the top, that's Martin. Zarnecki to the right of the quarterback, Thomas. Thomas now looks over the defense, rearranges things just a little bit, and calls for the football. He'll drop straight back, and the lefty now looking for someplace to go. The pocket's collapsing on him. He gets out of one tackle, and he can't break a second one back around the 10-yard line.
He's throw it away at that point, Jim.
Something that Kyle Thomas is going to have to learn to do here as he goes. He is so nifty on those wheels, and now he's hobbling a little bit to the sideline.
Yep, that's not a good sign, as he is a mobile quarterback, Jim, and if he isn't able to extend those plays with his feet and becomes a little more one-dimensional, then the defense is going to pick up on that, and they're going to adjust accordingly. But that was a must stop, as now the Britons are punting from their end zone.
Blanzy about 2 yards deep. He's got 2 Bulldogs waiting on their side of the 50 at the 45, and that ball will be kicked, a high, tall kick, and a fair catch by McCall as he backpedals all the way into the 36-yard line. He had his hand in the air, so thought about taking off because there were no Britons anywhere around him, but he realized he'd already put that hand in the air, backpedaled about 7 yards, and fair caught it at the 39-yard line of the Bulldogs. In fact, they'll spot him right at the 40.
And again, there's no do-over once you call for a fair catch, and that's obviously for player safety, and it's deservedly so.
Great idea, because really that ball was up in the air high, and I'm sure he was guarding his eyes just like we're guarding ours. But when he realized how much room he had in front of him, he really would like to head that one back. Emmanuel Stewart will start in the backfield right next to Clayton Euchre, who's in the pistol look. He'll put Stewart from his left side to his right side, and then they'll hand it to him. He'll come back towards that right sideline, which is the home sideline, and he'll get around the corner, across the 45 to about the 47-yard line. So give him about 7 yards on first down, and I'll tell you what, good job by the right side of that offensive line to seal things off and get that little guy to go around that end.
Yeah, most of their running plays, as you had mentioned earlier, Jim, have gone up the gut. They're more of a power, straight-ahead running team. That one breaks to the outside and found a lot of success right there.
Doubles to the top, doubles to the bottom right now. Again, Stewart to the right of his quarterback in the pistol look, and they'll hand it to Stewart. No, they'll fake it. Quarterback's going to keep it. He'll break the first tackle and get to midfield, very close to getting that first down. And I'll tell you what, Joe Fullerton a little bit upset that he wasn't able to pull that big guy down for a loss of a yard or two. Instead, it's a first down.
And again, 6'6". Not the most fleet of foot quarterback, but you only needed a few yards, and his body just stretching forward gives you 2.
6'6", 220, so not a little fellow by any stretch of the imagination.
No, but a bit stiff as a board.
Yeah, McGall goes wide to the visitors' side. They've got a single receiver right in front of us. They're going to go back into that pistol look when they've got Emmanuel Stewart, and the flags fly before anything gets started.
Ball start. That'll back them up 5. 12:36 to play, quarter number 3.
Like to shift into that wildcat look, and the one thing that gives it away is when you look down here at their wide receivers, and they've got a 6'6" wide receiver standing right in front of you. Nobody else on the field has that much height.
A 6'6" wide receiver who is not going to be throwing the ball in almost all likelihood.
Euchre goes back into the traditional quarterback spot in that pistol look, and he has Stewart to his right and just a step behind him. He'll fake the ball to Stewart. Here comes the rush, throwing the ball across the middle. Well, I'll tell you, there's a late interference call, and I think a good one.
Yep.
Jose Rodriguez kind of got a little bit hooked up there with Jaron McGall around the 40-yard line.
Got his hand around his hip right there. That's an easy call. But again, it isn't a spot foul in college. It is an automatic first down. But 15 yards, really, that would have given them a first down right at the sticks anyway.
Yep, he really would have had that football very close to where they're going to mark it off at this point in time as they go back to the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
So the ball will be set down at the 40-yard line. It'll be a first down and 10 as they mark it right there on the spot. And you're right, Jimmy, it's really right where he was. And without that little hold, I'm afraid that would have been a completion and maybe even gone a little farther.
Exactly.
Stewart again to the right this time of Euchre. They will fake the ball to him. Euchre going to throw it. He's got a wide open guy. This is a walk-in. Randy Fry up the right sideline. Everybody in a purple shirt bid on the fake, and we're coming up for run support. And Fry just took off running down the sideline. Easy pitch and catch at the 15, and a walk-in from that point on.
Yeah, the only thing as a Britain fan you hope right there is when he turns around to see that ball, he's looking up into the sun. Maybe he loses it, but goodness gracious. Hanorat bid on that run fake right there, and that was a well-designed play-action pass, and it was kind of what we thought could happen at some point. They keep running. That's like that jab that sets up the power punch.
So instead of the Brits having the opportunity to stretch that lead now, they were happy to have that field goal to maintain this lead as the extra point's on its way, and it's also good. So 23-21. Adrian holds Britons on their opening drive and then turns it into a touchdown drive with a 30-yard touch and catch. And the Britons now offensively going to have to come back in and get this thing going again.
And Jim, we talk about homecoming here at Adrian College. Albion College celebrates homecoming October 20th and 21st. That's coming up in just a few weeks. See albion.edu/homecoming for a list of events. That's October 20 and 21, so make your plans now.
And we're looking on the sideline just to be sure that Kyle Thomas is nowhere taking any treatment. As we said, he kind of limped his way off to the sideline after that last sack on that opening drive.
I don't see him favoring a leg right now.
So we expect to see him here shortly as he's just standing by himself, probably still thinking about what was going on.
Well, it doesn't mean he's not banged up, though.
Now, Dustin Buer, the offensive coordinator, standing next to him right now as they're going over exactly the game plan for this next series. Zarnecki again and Martin go back deep. Martin again at the goal line. Zarnecki at about the 5-yard line. He's on the home side. Martin on the visitor's side. Cameron Cook ready to kick this thing and put it into play. 12:26 to play third quarter. 23-21. What a great football game. Exactly what we expected. Zarnecki will take it at the goal line. He's across the 20-yard line and just absolutely hammered right there.
And we got a late flag on unnecessary roughness penalty. Might have had a little bit of a flop right there, Jimbo.
Had a couple of them out here on the field right now, out around the 33-yard line, 35-yard line.
I think it's the same infraction. That was number 39, Danny White, the freshman. Looked a bit like a flop, but it was also looked like a late hit, and that's going against Levi Ladd, 37, I believe, for the Brits on special teams.
They're still talking things over at the 35-yard line, and now we're about to find out what the call is going to be.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 37 of the returning team. After distance from the goal, first down.
Yep. Late hit after the play was over, and again, you know, you see a hit in the back like that, and then the player who gets hit just gets up, starts hopping and running to the sideline. Yeah, man, it just kind of makes you wonder. Was that a little bit of a flop right there?
First down and 10 now for the Britons as this ball will be marked at the 10-yard line, their own. 12:21 to play third quarter. The Britons now with their second drive of the second half. The first one not a real good one. Thomas now will have Zarnecki to his right. He'll put triples to the short side of the field. That's the visitor's side. And Martin all by himself, one-on-one here on the home side at the 10-yard line.
They're going to need to sustain a drive right here, Jim.
Thomas drops, throws that little screen pass up to the short side. He's got his guy. Short pickup of a couple, and it's kind of hard to see who that was that caught it up there, but that was Koski, 9, that got it. He got up for about 3 yards. They're clear on the other side of the football field. We're at about midfield here. Great seats today. We appreciate all the help we've gotten from the folks here at Adrian. But Koski and everybody in the shadows clear down in the corner here at the 13-yard line. First and 10 again, Zarnecki in the backfield. Thomas drops, look to throw. He's got his guy. That's Martin at the 15, and he's dropped right there, but that'll get him out close to the first down and set up a third down at about 3. Put it at the 16-yard line.
Manageable third down here, but again, have to sustain this drive. Defense is on its heels a little bit.
Triples to the top, and they're spread wide. That's the wide side of the field. Zarnecki will be to the left now of the quarterback on the short side. Martin single coverage here on the home side, the short side of the field. Thomas looking toward the left. Now he wants to run. He's got Bulldogs all around him, throws it at the very last second. He's got his completion. Is he far enough up the field to get the first down? I guess the only question, Blanzy, I believe the guy that made the catch.
They had to get to the 20. Or
close
the 30,
to the sticks, and he's got it. He's right there. First down and 10.
Excellent job by the receiver right there, Jim. They tell you on those third down patterns, get to the sticks, get to the sticks. Don't give the officials a chance to even think about it.
Thomas had a lot of pressure. He was going to try to run the football, realized he didn't have the room, and then he found Blanzy at the last second, completed the pass. Here comes the blitz from the top. There was a late hit in the middle. It's a completed pass in the middle. I believe that's Blanzy again, and he'll be at midfield. And I'll tell you what, Thomas just took a shot. 3 steps after he let go of the football, he got hit in front of the back judge, who just stood there and watched it. Man, I'd like to see the video on that one more time. That guy coming from that corner blitz got there so late he just decided he's going to make a hit anyway, and he did. Handoff goes to Zarnecki, middle of the football field. There's some room, 45-yard line of the Adrian Bulldogs before he's knocked down. Give him 5 on that first down run.
Critical third down pickup right there, though, by the Britons on that last pass play, Jim. You have to give the defense a break right here, and ideally you'd like to put some points on the board.
Brits send 3 guys to the top. That's Poor. They also have Kyle Winchell up there now, and Koski. Martin, the only guy here on the wide side, and Zarnecki to the left of the quarterback in the backfield. Thomas calls for the football. He'll hand the ball to Zarnecki. He'll go around the right corner, and just as he pokes his nose across the line of scrimmage, he's met by number 17, Chris Adams. Adams, the number 1 tackler on the football team, stops Zarnecki for no gain. It'll set up third down and 5.
And he was coming from an outside, almost a hybrid safety position. As you can see, he's back in the safety position now. Talk about run support. He's coming from the opposite side as a hybrid safety, making that stop behind the line of scrimmage.
Call it a loss of about 1, third down and 6. Triples go to the top again. Zarnecki to the left of Thomas in the backfield. Here comes the rush. He's got time. Throws it across the middle. That's Poor. He's got it. 30-yard line. Inside the 30 to the 27-yard line. A little crossing pattern right down in the middle in the seam, and the ball right on the money, and Colin Poor moves that football a little deeper into Adrian territory.
Yet another pass right over the middle in the soft spot of the zone, Jim. Incredible how many times they've been able to complete that pass in that general area of the defense.
24 yards on the hook up there between the two, and the Brits are at the line of scrimmage again. They've got a single receiver to the top, triples here on the bottom. The home side is the weak side of the football field right now, the short side. Zarnecki, the running back. They'll fake the ball to him. Here comes the blitz. There's the throw. It's got Koski, I believe, at the 5, the 4. He's still working at the 2.
What effort.
And he's knocked down right there.
What effort, Jim.
Sean Koski, as Thomas got away from it, from an all-out blitz. I mean, they were coming right at his face. He put the ball on the money. Koski got the football and just played a Bronco rider there for about 3 or 4 yards, carrying the defensive back down to the goal line.
Bringing in a power package with an extra tight end.
Ball will be faked to Zarnecki and thrown into the end zone a little bit high. And I'll tell you, Zach Kitka, if the ball would have been on the money, had an easy little catch for a touchdown.
And remember that power package I mentioned? He's the extra tight end you brought in. So everybody's thinking run, including me. And then they fool us all with the passing. I think he just waited about a step too long.
So that'll be his second down now and goal from the 1 yard line. Kitka again at that tight end spot here on the home side.
And again, with the ball on the 1, you wonder why you're throwing, why aren't you running? Well, you're throwing because it's first down and you can pretty much do whatever you want.
They have Blanzy in the slot here on the home side. Martin wide out, and Zarnecki the only running back in the backfield. They'll fake the ball again. Thomas now with some trouble, but he works out of it. Running towards the corner, dives for the end zone, but it'll be short by about a foot.
Yep. That left shoulder dip down just inside the 1, so all that running for no gain, maybe half yard.
Yep. Third down and goal here from again, just around the 1 yard line.
Inside the 1, and I know they run the pistol in almost every play, but here's one where I just love to see him go under center.
Thomas will stay in that pistol look. He's looking to the sideline for the call. He's got Zarnecki to his left now in the backfield. They're strong on the short side, the left side. 2 tight ends here on the wing. See if they'll run that way. Zarnecki fakes the handoff. Thomas keeps it. He's going for the end zone. Where's he at? Have to wait to see. They're going to mark him down just short.
4th and goal.
4th and goal, and we're just inches away. And do we have Blanzy coming off the sideline for a field goal? Or are we going big? Yep, Blanzy's coming in for a field goal right now. Wow, 3 times from the 1 yard line, and you can't get in.
That's a heartbreaker right there. That's a huge win for the Bulldogs defense.
Fabry comes in to try the extra point, or the the field goal. Yeah, it is an extra point from the 1 foot line, and he kicks it up, and it's good. Boy, it almost pushed it out that right side on the uprights.
That's a huge win for the Bulldogs defense, though. 3 runs from the 1, and you can't, well, 2 runs and a pass, but you can't get it in. That's one where you're going to look back. If this game gets decided in a close one, you're going to look back at those 3 plays right there and think, what could have been?
You bring in the jumbo package, and you really do, Jim, think exactly what I thought. We're going to take this thing and stuff it right up the middle of the football field. Instead, we went wide 2 times, and that opening pass, that first down pass, should have been a touchdown.
Yep, waited about a step too long.
Yep, just didn't quite get the ball when he needed to a wide open Koski in the end zone, and they had him faked. They had the play that they wanted. They just couldn't convert on first down. So instead, Brits go up by 5, 26-21 with 7:44 to play here in the third quarter.
Great ball game.
Great ball game is right.
It's going to, again, we said this in the pregame, Jim. This is the way I think Adrian Albion games are going to be.
I think this is the way they normally are year after year, aren't they, huh? Kick's going to go to Davis, and he'll field it at the 10-yard line on the home side. Comes straight up the middle of the football field to the 30-yard line and knocked down there on the hash mark. And right there, the Bulldogs will take over at the 30-yard line, first down and 10.
So decent return. Now Adrian looking to try to take the lead with a touchdown as their defense rose to the occasion big time on that last drive. Albion College, 3 opportunities from the 1, in fact 2 from inside the 1, unable to push it in.
So the Bulldogs come out on the football field again with Emmanuel Stewart in the backfield. He will be to the left of his quarterback, Clayton Euchre. Euchre in the pistol look, and they have that fullback look now. Now they shift the fullback and the tight end from the visitor side back over to the home side. Handoff to Emmanuel Stewart right up the middle of the football field. He gets hit, but not after about a 3-yard gain.
And he bounced off it, too.
So Stewart is just a tough young guy to be able to pull down, isn't he, Jim?
Yep, they're going for the thigh right there in that stick, but he has very strong legs, and he's able to absorb those blows and able to continue driving forward.
Stewart picked up 4 yards on that carry. Second down and 6, ball in the 34-yard line. 7-12, the clock counting here at Adrian College. Great having you with us on the Britain Sports Network this afternoon. Stewart again to the right of the quarterback. They're in the pistol. Doubles on the top, doubles on the bottom this time. They will fake the ball to Stewart, throw that little screen pass to McCall in the flat, and they will work him out of bounds at about the 47-yard line, so he get about 3 and set up a third down and a couple now for the Bulldogs.
Jose Rodriguez.
Rodriguez with a nice coverage, but you know that little flanker screen, they put him in the slot there. They step him back a couple of steps, throw him the ball, and then let him go as far as he can towards the corner. And he got up the field for about 3 right there. Call it 3rd down and a short 3.
Line of scrimmage, the 38, so they need to get to just about the 40, maybe just past the 40 to move the chains.
6:29 now. Euchre in the pistol. Running back to his left, that is Stewart. Stewart steps out of a tackle in the backfield, pushes forward, and gosh, with all of that effort between he and the offensive line, he's going to cross the 40-yard line to the 41-yard line and make it a 1st down. And he was actually stopped in the backfield, it looked like. The Brits had a nice push. I believe that was Hunter Shaw that actually got loose, but got him slowed down, but then he got in the middle of those big old uglies in the front of that line, and they just kept pushing forward. Before you know it, they got about 4, and it's a 1st down now for the Bulldogs at the 42-yard line, their own.
Number 67, Matt Hoover, the O-lineman for Adrian, shaken up but stayed in the game.
Handoff goes to Stewart.
Oh, nice
again,
cut.
gets out of a tackle in the backfield. Ball's loose. Let's see who's on it. I think it's the Britons football.
And we have a flag, too.
And I think that's a hold against Adrian.
So as long as that's not a face mask.
Fumble forced by number 35, Jose Rodriguez.
So who recovered? I don't see the officials pointing out there.
Oh, they say the Bulldogs got on it. So looked like the Brits had a good shot at it. Rodriguez is the guy that stripped it loose, but we do have a penalty on the.
I think this is a face mask against Albion, Jim. So it goes from bad to worse on this play.
And we'll see what happens here. Flag was thrown right around the 40-yard line. And we're waiting as the discussion has now come to a conclusion on the field.
Personal foul.
Yep.
Number 92 is the defense.
You're right, Jim. Dallas Reynolds is the young fellow that gets called for the flag, and you are right. It goes from bad to worse.
Didn't get the fumble recovery.
Didn't get the loss of about 5, and instead you get a 15-yard penalty that moves the Bulldogs into Britain's territory at the 47-yard line.
I almost think you take a shot right here. You do a temperature check. The Bulldogs haven't really taken too many downfield shots. That one busted coverage touchdown notwithstanding.
Fry and King are the wide receivers on the top of the field. They may be the guys you go after. McGaw is down here on this side. Again, Stewart in the backfield, and they'll turn and hand that ball right to Stewart, and they'll go straight up the middle of the football field. And he'll get to the 45-yard line before he's knocked down. Give him about 2 as he gets across that 45 just barely.
Again, nothing flashy about this Bulldogs offense. That one big pass play they hit was a beautifully designed play-action pass, but it was all set up by the 3, 4, 5-yard runs they just kept getting. For the most part, they run it right up the gut, with a few exceptions, cutting it to the outside. Excellent running backs and offensive line play. But again, nothing flashy about the offense, but effective.
Miller and Shaw on the tackle, and now doubles on the top and the bottom. They'll fake the ball to Stewart. They're going to throw the ball across the middle, and they've got McCall at the 22. He'll get an extra couple before he's knocked down at the 20.
And you can see he's shaking up on that hit. Remember, I kept talking about how he would get down or get out of bounds right away because his body was not built to take a hit. He just took a hit.
Wickens put a lick on him down there around the 20-yard line, and he is down on his back right at this moment.
And obviously the last thing you want to see is any injury. But again, with a 150-some-pound receiver, Jim, the bodies just are not built to absorb the kind of contact you're going to get in those over-the-middle plays.
Wickens got a good pop on him there, 6'1", 215. And we have McCall still down on the middle of the field, right at the 20-yard line.
And you can see the concern on the sideline of the Bulldogs, and rightfully so, Jim. Everybody takes a knee. And it's always done out of concern for your comrade out there in the field.
Training staff out there with him right at this point in time.
Hate to see it.
If you just joined us here, the Britons basically had a situation where they opened up with the football to open up the third quarter. Went 3 and out, gave the ball back to Adrian. And Adrian basically went all the way down the field for a touchdown and made it a 23-21 Albion game. Albion got the ball back, drove 12 plays, 79 yards. Got the ball inside the 1-yard line, had 3 tries from the 1, couldn't get the touchdown. So Fabry kicks an 18-yard field goal at the 4:37 mark, and we stand at 26-21. And the good news is the young fellow's up off the field right now, and that's always good to see.
Yep.
Jaron McGall back up off the ground and on his own walking towards the sideline. Got a sneaking hunch we have not seen the end of number 9 for the afternoon.
Well, it depends on the kind of hit. If he took a hit up near the shoulder, chest, head area, you might need to check him for a concussion. If that's the case, you probably won't see him again today because that concussion test can take a while to pass.
He's replaced on the field by Foster Walker, and Walker will go wide on the Britain sideline. They go strong now to the home side as they bring a couple of tight ends and a fullback in, and now they've sent one of them in motion. Now he reverses himself back to the home sideline. Stewart gets the football. He's going to run that direction, but the Britons said, nope, we saw this one coming. You're going down. 45 is Joe Fullerton. He got behind the blockers and dropped the runner for a loss of about 1 at the 21.
And now, depending on who they're bringing in at receiver, Jim, your big threat at receiver is on the sideline shaking off an injury. You think now's the time to sell out expecting run, but also they've hit him with a play-action touchdown pass already. So, again, the chess match continues.
Cleary, Walker, and King are the receivers on the top side. That's the wide side of the field, the visitor's side. Down here in front of us is Randy Fry. Stewart, the only running back in the backfield. He's to the left of the quarterback, and they will hand him the ball, and he tries right guard, and he's stopped right away. No gain. On the bottom of that pile is Dallas Reynolds. Reynolds got both of his ankles and just squeezed them together, and everybody else came up and stopped him right at the line of scrimmage. 3rd down now and 11.
And that play was kind of doomed from the start. A delayed handoff, bad exchange between quarterback and running back allowed the defense to get there, and like you said, hands right on top of those shoes. You can't go anywhere at that point.
Triples go back up to the top. Same 3 guys. Single receiver again here on the bottom. He'll draw single coverage. Stewart the backfield on the left-hand side. They'll fake the throw, and now they'll toss it in the end zone deep, and it's over the head of the intended receiver.
That's a play.
Down in that back corner, that was Joe Cleary that came on, and it was just a little bit too far for Cleary to make the catch.
That's a play where, just like the 3 plays inside the 1 on the other side, that's where they had it.
Yeah.
Just like the Brits had it on that first touchdown, or that 1st and goal pass. They had that one. They had the right play called.
Cleary is the one guy probably that you don't pay as much attention to. So he ran an out route to the back corner of the end zone, and the ball just basically thrown over his head. Low snap, but it's placed. Kicks on its way, and it's good. So Cameron Cook with a nice 35-yarder. And this football game is 26-24 Britons with 3:17 to play in the 3rd quarter. We asked for a good one today, Jimmy. We're going to get one. How's that?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Sun going down on the horizon, and probably within the next 20 minutes or so, we're actually going to be away from the sunshine. And the lights are already on here at Docking Stadium. Britain's about ready to get the football back, and we just see if they can't get that offense in gear. Need to answer that field goal with a touchdown right now, but I'm sure that's what Coach Jim Deere told his guys after the Britons had to settle for that field goal the last drive that they had.
Again, Albion College celebrates homecoming October 20th and 21st. See albion.edu/homecoming for a list of events. Make your plans now.
Zarnecki will be on the left side at the goal line. Moore will be on the right side at the goal line. Both of them standing about 5 yards apart. Now Zarnecki will leave Mr. Moore and work his way to the 5. Moore stands still back on about the 2-yard line. Kick will be headed towards Moore, and he'll field it at the 1. Heading up the center of the field, now will cut towards his sideline. Gets around the corner at the 25, across the 30-yard line, and dumped at the 32-yard line, right in front of the Albion bench. So Moore with Marlon Moore with a nice return of about 31 yards. And the Brits have some pretty decent field position here at the 32, well, just right at the 31 is where they're going to mark it.
3:10 to play in quarter number 3. Albion holds a slim 26-24 lead. Teams exchanging field goals in the last 2 possessions. Brits with the ball.
Britons go with triples to the top, a single receiver to the bottom. Zarnecki in the backfield, and he has it. He's across the 40. 45, came right up the middle of the field, and he's at the midfield stripe by the time they knock him down. Again, that little delayed draw Looked like it was going nowhere at the beginning, but Zarnecki was patient, waited for the block, and the next thing you know, he turned a nothing run into 19, and the Brits have the ball at the 50.
Hindsight being 20/20, you wish he just kept running that one straight up the left side.
Zarnecki in the backfield to the left of Thomas this time. Triples in front of us on the home side. Moore, the only receiver on the top side. Now Zarnecki moves to the right side of Thomas. Now back to the left. Thomas calls for the football. And he gets it, hands it to Zarnecki. Off right guard for a short pickup. He'll be into Bulldogs territory at about the 48-yard line, maybe the 47. Give him 2, maybe 3.
Good stop by Damon Fuller, number 21. Finished that play a little bit late, but again, you got to play through the whistle.
27 or 47-yard line is where they actually mark it. A pickup of 3 for Patrick Zarnecki.
Good forward progress right there. Looked like he was stopped a little shorter than that, but the Britons will take it.
Mitchell comes in, Zarnecki sits down. Brits again with 3 wide receivers on the bottom. Thomas fires, and he's got his receiver at the 39-yard line.
Good catch.
Nice catch by Moore, and I'll tell you what, the young fellow who had so many problems last year as a freshman pulling those balls in, went down to the grass and pulled that one right off the carpet here at Adrian College for the completion. First down and 10, ball on the 38-yard line of the Bulldogs.
What a difference a year makes, Jim.
Triples to the top, single receiver on the bottom. Mitchell with the run, heading forward off the left guard and left tackle, and the whole pile moves forward for a couple before they finally push him back and knock him down.
That's playing through the whistle and after the whistle and the echo of the whistle right there.
Seems like it's been going a little bit that way here today, but we'll just keep our mouths shut and let it fly. How's that?
Works for me.
Second down and 8, and we'll hope that the Brits will take care of business on the scoreboard. How's that?
The officials don't need to determine the game. The players do.
Triples go to the top, single here on the bottom. Again, it's Moore.
Good news for the Bulldogs as McGaw up and moving around a lot better down here.
Zarnecki back into the right of the quarterback right now, Thomas, and they will hand the ball to Pat. Pat tries to get around the left end, tried to cut back inside then, and then just went forward for a couple. He's down to about the 35-yard line. Give him 2. We're down under a minute to play here in quarter number 3, 44 seconds and counting.
And you'd think obvious passing situation, and if that's the case, the Britons have found a lot of success over the middle in the soft spot of the zone.
Marked him at the 36, actually, only give him 1, 3rd down and 3. Zarnecki again to the right. Triples here on the home side, on the short side of the field. Here comes the rush. Thomas going deep to the corner. It's caught at the 10. No.
All the way to the ground.
Couldn't take it all the way home, and I'll tell you what, give credit to the defensive back there. I think that was number 7, Villalobos.
The Britain receiver shaking up at the end of that play, Jim.
Yeah. That was Koski that was fighting for the football. Wasn't able to come down with the ball, and he is now on his back down inside the 5 at about the 3-yard line.
Going airborne and then getting slammed down on his back. Probably got the wind knocked out of him.
Villalobos and Koski fighting for that football. The ball thrown pretty much where it needed to be. But I'll tell you what, that young fellow, number 7, who is a senior this year, has done a lot of things. We watched him play the last couple of years, and you're not going to find much better than him in the MIAA.
Villalobos leads the MIAA with 3 interceptions on the season. Got a good pass breakup there at the last moment because that was dropped in a bucket, proverbially speaking, right over the shoulder, but was unable to complete the catch.
So Koski gets up and heads over to the sideline. I agree with you, Jimmy. I think just the wind knocked out of him. Blanzy will come in to punt this one. And Jacob Davis stands on his 10-yard line waiting for this kick.
We'll try to pin them inside the 15 right here.
21 seconds left in the third quarter.
Oh, they could have run a fake right there, Jim.
Blanzy kicks it high in the air, and Davis fair catches at the 9.
Did you see on special teams right there, everybody turned around and ran.
Yeah. And you would think that maybe with Blanzy being the backup quarterback, you would give him that green light anytime he sees something like that happen. Take off, but again, I don't know the coach all that well, and maybe that's just the opposite comment that they actually get.
Well, so, and you don't want to call that on your own and then not get it and get back to the sideline.
Sun going down, things cooling down just a little bit right now, but the football is hot here at Adrian. 16 seconds left to go in the third quarter, and the Brits on top by a deuce, 26-24.
What a beautiful afternoon for football.
People starting to put some jackets on, though, right now. The temperatures dropped quite a bit. We're back in that Wildcat look as Stewart stands on about the 7-yard line. No, in fact, the quarterback was under center. How in the world did he do that? Stewart up the sideline, and he's running 25, 40, 50. Tries to cut it back inside and gets knocked down in the Britain's 44-yard line. Stewart took it from his 9-yard line, came around the right corner, and somehow just got into some open space, put it into that high gear and got it into Britain's territory. They'll knock him down at the 44, and they'll run the clock out in the third quarter.
So we'll go to quarter number 4. It's a nail-biter, folks. 26-24, Britain's lead, but the Bulldogs on the run.
47 yards on that tote by Emmanuel Stewart, and that's the reason why he is just so difficult to deal with. Man, I'll tell you what, he came around the corner on just that power play around that right end. Didn't really look like it was going to do anything more than get 3 or 4 and get him knocked out of bounds. The next thing you know, good blocking. He was ahead of the pack, and he was heading up the sideline. Good job by the Britons to make that touchdown save and tackle, but not before he flipped the field on him real quick to start the fourth quarter.
Big start to that drive for the Bulldogs. Now the Britons defense is going to have to rise to the occasion. There's a lot of football left to play, but the momentum on the side of Adrian College despite trailing by 2 in the scoreboard.
Changing from the sunglasses to the regular glasses now as things got a little darker around here when the sun went down.
A 10-3 third quarter advantage Adrian College, and they are on the move again. The ball on the friendly side of the 50. Well, now they're marking it. What's going on? Oh, wait, never mind.
Yeah, we're flipping the field right now.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Emmanuel Stewart now has 29 rushes for 182 yards this afternoon, Jimmy.
And he's going to be well over 200 by the end of this game.
Nutter will come in. Stewart will get a breather as we open up quarter number 4. And Euchre now, the pistol look. You know, he surprised me because I didn't see him. He was basically down under center for the first time today. And I thought they were in the Wildcat look. Throw goes off the hands, and the shoulder pads are Foster Walker as he tries to run a little in route, and they hit him right in the numbers, bounced off the shoulder. Nice job by the Brits to come in and engage him right away. Rayshawn Robinson was the young man that hit him just as the ball got there, and it'll be second down now and 10.
Still have not seen Jaron McGaw back out there, Jim.
Well, and again, you might be right. He's sitting down here, I think, on the sideline next to one of his teammates, and he may be done for the afternoon. Pitch goes to Nutter. They'll sweep left end. Nutter gets around the corner to the 40-yard line and gets knocked down. I'll tell you what, Jose Rodriguez not real happy with the way that he was cut off from that runner. Thought he might have been grabbed just a little bit, but the block was a decent one, and the gain was about 4 to be third down now and 6.
This is a big down right here for the Britons defense, Jim. You have to think if the Bulldogs get 2 or more yards on this play, they're probably thinking go for it. If they don't get any, they'll probably end up punting.
Fry and Walker, the wide receivers, in the game right now, along with King. And they will send King and Cleary and Walker to the top. They have triples to the top, single receiver to the back on the bottom, and we have a whistle before everything gets started, and we have a timeout, Adrian, as the play clock had gotten very close to 0. So that's the first time out of the second half now for Adrian, and when I looked up over, the play clock was at 0, so they called it just before it ticked down off that 1.
Jim, Albion College hosts a statewide celebration of ceramics on Saturday, October 14, starting at 8 a.m. at the Bobbitt Visual Arts Center. This one-day biennial conference showcases the excellence of ceramic art and its diversity of techniques. The community event is open to the public. Registration is required, and all instructions and event info can be found on the Michigan Ceramics Arts Association website. That's michclay.com, michclay.com.
Big thank you already to Patrick Stewart today here at Adrian, the SID, that has been just a wonderful help to us all afternoon long.
Beautiful accommodations. Yep.
Always fun to come over here and do a football game at Adrian. Stewart back out on the football field. He's to the right of the quarterback, who is Clayton Euchre. Triples to the top, single to the bottom right now. And Euchre's looking to throw. He has time. He'll throw it to Stewart in the flat. And Stewart is going to be wrapped up after just about a 2-yard pickup.
Oh, no.
And again, a late throw, and that's going to go against Jose Rodriguez. And unfortunately, the flags are necessary. The whistle blew. Rodriguez picked Stewart up and slammed him to the ground after the whistles had blown.
Yeah, totally uncalled for right there.
And what would have been a 4th down and probably 4, because 4 or 5, Stewart had a yard, maybe 2.
That's a terrible penalty.
That's a tough one right there.
You cannot have that happen.
Things, as you said, get a little chippy down there, especially when the Bulldogs and the Britons go to war with one another on a Saturday afternoon. But that's the thing that you've got to avoid, because there would have been a big decision, as you were saying, Jim. 4th down and 5, what do the Bulldogs do?
I think you would have kicked, but now it's a moot point because you're inside the 25 at about the 24. Certainly makes the defense challenge even greater right here because you're pretty much in field goal range, but obviously with a 1st down just outside the red zone, the Bulldogs are not thinking 3 right now.
Caleb Vanderlot is the wingback on the right. Emmanuel Stewart is the running back, and he will be now in the quarterback position as Euchre now runs to his spot wide on the visitor side. Stewart will keep it. Wildcat, right tackle, across the 20 to about the 18. So Stewart gets a good 6, maybe 7 on that opening roll.
And that penalty was a killer on that drive, Jim.
Edwards makes the tackle there for the Britons, but not before Stewart gets in the 20 to about the 18. So give him 6 on the 1st down carry. Bring Euchre back to his traditional pistol spot. Bring Nutter in now to his right in the backfield. Send one receiver to the top and the bottom, and now shift your tight end and your H-back towards the home sideline. They'll hand the ball to Nutter. He'll run the other direction around the right corner. He's across the 15 down to about the 13. He'll have a 1st down, and again, everything looked like it was coming to the left. Nutter took 1 step that way and then ran around the right end for the 1st down.
And that's the familiarity of your field. You know how you can cut, where you can cut, and what it's going to do to you versus what it's going to do to the defense.
Ball on the 12-yard line now of the Britons. Just underway, 4th quarter. Brits with a very slim 2-point lead, 26-24, but Adrian in the red zone. Nutter again in the backfield. They hand it to him off right tackle again a couple of yards. This time down to about the 11-yard line, maybe the 10. They'll give him 2 at the 10. Yep.
Taken down by number 5, Jordan.
So if they can hold him here to a 4th and short, depending on the distance, then it becomes an interesting question for the Bulldogs, but we're still a couple of plays away from that. So.
Carter made the tackle there on the run for the Britons, and the Bulldogs changing personnel here.
Might have to burn another timeout, Jim.
Walker comes in, the play clock down to 11. Euchre sets it up. They'll send 2 receivers to the top, the short side of the field, which is the visitor's side. Single receiver on the bottom. Now they'll move the Stewart around, and they get down to 1 second, and they have to call a timeout. So that's
a tough one right there.
Yeah, that is.
Yep, that's a tough one right there. They took too long getting the play in. They made a couple of substitutions late, too.
Shifted everybody around, and the next thing you know, they're burning timeout number 2 here in the 4th quarter.
I would say burning daylight, but daylight's done now.
Daylight is over the hill and heading out into the Netherlands right now. 12:03 to play, 4th quarter. Good ball game. Happy to have you with us here on the Brits Football Network this afternoon, and we hope you're enjoying this thing. We will enjoy it a lot more if somehow this scoreboard will hold up and the Brits are 2 points ahead when that final gun goes off this afternoon. 2nd down, 8 to go, ball on the 10-yard line. So as you can see, Adrian with a chance to get a 1st down around the 2. They have now used 2 of their 3 timeouts here in the 2nd half.
And that could be costly down the road.
Doubles come to the wide side of the field, which is now the home side of the football field. Single to the top. Stewart, the only running back in the back, and he's fielding his right of his quarterback right now, and they will turn and hand it to Stewart. Up the right side, looked like he was going to break something loose, and then he got tripped down at the 5-yard line.
Touchdown saving tackle right there.
When he went through the hole between right guard and right tackle, it looked like he was on his way to the end zone, and the next thing you know, the pins came out, and he fell right on his face about 2 yards short of that first down. Make it 3. He's at the 5.
Breaking through that first wave right there, Jim. He hit that second gear, and
somebody in that offensive line just was able to get there and knock those wheels out from underneath of him, because he just went down in a hurry. He went from full head of speed, running as hard as he could, to on his face.
Late substitution by the Brits.
Pitch. Stewart now going to sweep the left sideline, trying to get around the corner. Can he? He does. Is he in? He's close. No signal that I've seen yet, but now there is one. Again, you're down in that corner of the goal line, and there's so many people down there that are just spectators. You can't see from the 5-yard line out what's going on down there. And the official took forever to signal it. Yeah, you couldn't see the guy that should have been calling it down there.
I did see the pylon, though, get replaced, so it's possible that he stretched the ball out to hit the pylon. So great effort by Stewart right there to get that touchdown run. Second time he's run strong to that left side in this area.
30-26 now with the extra point on its way. It's perfect. 31-26. 5-point deficit now for the Brits, who have led most of this football game.
Now you see what kind of answer you get.
It was 13-0 Brits at the end of one. And then at the half, it was 23-14 Brits. In the third quarter, Adrian scored 10 to Albion's 3. At that point, it was 26-24 Britons. And now the touchdown and the extra point makes it 31-26. So the first score of the fourth quarter is Adrian's, with the Britons getting the football back.
17-3 second half so far.
Britain's offense going to have to figure some things out here.
Yep.
Need to figure it out right now, too, as Zarnecki and Martin go back deep. Standing back there together with one another at about the 2-yard line, talking things over.
Even with a touchdown on that previous drive, Jim, Adrian will still be up 31-30.
Cook addresses the ball and kicks it high and deep, and Martin will field it on the 2, right in the middle of the football field.
A lot of room.
Comes right up the middle of the field. Now he cuts it out towards the home sideline, makes the first guy miss, gets a block or two, works his way across the 30 to about the 32-yard line, and gets knocked out of bounds right around the 32, maybe the 33. So a nice job by Martin to bring it out about 32 yards on that return. And the Britons have the football, first down and 10 at their own 32-yard line. So a nice 31-yard return there for Marlon Martin.
Time absolutely not a factor. I figure with the pace both these teams play, each team probably going to get at least 2 more possessions in this game. But the Brits need to make the most of this one.
Britton triples to the top. Single receiver here to the bottom. Zarnecki in the backfield to fake the ball to him. Throw that little screen pass to the top. I think that was Poor who got it, but it was low, and he almost dropped the knee for a 4-yard loss. Got a hand down and went forward a yard or so, but he lost a yard, maybe 2 on that, as Lawrence Austin came up and made the tackle, give him a loss of 1, and make it second down and 11 right now for the Britons.
Had to double clutch that throw too.
Thomas drops. Here comes the heat. Throws the ball. It's intercepted. Oh, man. Lawrence Austin with a convoy coming down the left sideline. Fell down at the 15. Oh, my goodness. Little bit of confusion on that route because there were no purple shirts where that ball was thrown. And Austin right there to catch that football and return it for about 17.
Adrian almost responded with their own pick 6 right there. Again, bad placement on that throw, bad communication between wide receiver and quarterback. But the Brits defense now, I mean, if they can hold them to 3, it's still a 1-possession game. But again, time's not a factor with 10:33 left.
17-yard line is where Adrian puts this ball into play. They go into a straight eye look with the quarterback under center. They'll hand the ball off to Nutter from that eye back look, and he'll get 2 to the 15.
You have to keep him out of the end zone here, though, Jim. 38-26 that's a tough road to climb.
I'll tell you what, you can sit there and high five all you want, but that if you don't catch that one, that interception was just absolutely thrown to nobody but Lawrence Austin, who just stood there and said, "Holy smokes, what's this?"
Is that ball really coming my way?
I can't imagine he's going to throw that to me. got a couple of blocks and did a nice job to advance the football up the field. But I got to believe the guy who was probably the most surprised about the whole thing was the young fellow that intercepted the football. Stewart again to the left side, and they'll hand him the ball and sweep to the right side. Still on his feet, and then he got thumped.
What a stick.
45 is Joey Fullerton. Fullerton tried to cut that one back like he's done so many times, and Fullerton was ready to just welcome him to the turf here at the Adrian football field. He'll get a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
In many cases in today's game, though, he was able to make a cutback like that and make defenders miss. So the Britons finally got one on him there.
Fullerton basically just wrapped him and threw him down. Triples go to the top, single receiver to the bottom, and again, Stewart to the right of his quarterback on the pistol look with 9:14 to play in the ball game. They're going to throw this one. Quarterback drops, and he's going to be dropped back at around the 22-yard line. Nice job by the Brits, Dallas Reynolds, to fight through that offensive line, and just as Clayton Euchre thought he was going to let loose of the football, he found himself on the carpet.
Yep. And again, that's credit to the defensive secondary right there by the Britons, Jim. 3-step drop, stayed in the pocket a little too long, but again, Euchre, not a mobile quarterback, pretty much straight, stiff as a board.
Cameron Cook going to try a 37-yarder straight on, and he's got this one plenty of leg, and it's good, but we have a flag on the field and a procedure call against Adrian, so hold on for just a minute.
Gonna have to re-kick.
He had plenty of leg, though, didn't he, huh? I think it was going to, we both were saying the same thing. Holy mackerel.
I don't know if this 5-yard penalty is going to mean a whole lot.
Here's what we need. We need a 5-yard penalty, and we get to pick the direction that we move it. We don't want to move it back. We want to move it to the right 5 yards. How's that? This was just straight on again. And he just drilled that thing. He had that one by 20 easy. That was a 55-yarder right there.
That would be neat if you could do that, though. You pick the hash mark on not just the yardage, but the hash mark.
Okay, we're going to move it over there. So this was dead center again.
Plenty of leg for this young man, though.
From the 26, he's got it on its way, and it is spinning through and is also good.
No doubt.
So just like that, after the interception, the Britons defense did hold and forced the field goal try, and then after the procedure call that wiped the field goal off the board the first time, the second one is good from 5 yards farther, make it 34-26. Now an 8-point game, still just a 1-score contest though, Jim.
Cameron Cook, 6'4", 207, the place kicker. About as big as the quarterback right there.
Good sized fella, isn't he, huh?
A lot of leg. Still Cook, 1-possession game though.
Cook hit a 45 so far this year as his longest. And you know what? I'll tell you what, he has definitely a leg that could go 50-plus. That one 43 after he missed one from 38 because of a procedure call.
It's hard to believe that in the second half, Adrian College is outscoring Albion 20-3, and yet they're only up 1 score.
That is hard to believe. All right, the Brits now need to get something moving here. 8:29 to play in the ball game. Brits have all 3 timeouts. Adrian with just 1. If you're out there listening tonight, we are appreciative of you being here. And we're having fun getting you the football play-by-play here this afternoon. We hope you enjoy the audio side of these away games that we will be doing here this year. Kick goes to Moore. He'll field it at the 5-yard line on the home side. Bring it straight up the football field. Gets a block, then another one. Then he gets wrapped up at the 25 and knocked down. And again, we've got a lot of extracurricular going on down here. Why there are not more yellow flags out here on this football field for people being hit late and thrown out of bounds and everything else is just one that we'll let everybody discuss at other times. But this is a chippy football game this afternoon, no doubt. There has been a couple of personal fouls called. They've both gone against the Brits here today.
The Brits just need a good sustained drive right here.
Zarnecki goes in at the running back spot. Thomas at the quarterback spot. They're in the pistol look. They put triples up to the home side or the visitor side of the field, which is the wide side of the field right now. Moore, the only receiver here on the home side of the field, and he has single coverage. They're showing blitz. Then they step out of it. Now they bring that blitz. Thomas throws it to Poor, but it's high and a little too hard on that flanker screen. And I don't think it was going very far anyway because there were Adrian Bulldogs all over that vicinity waiting for that pass to be thrown to Cullen Poor.
Yeah, they've gone back to that well a few too many times, Jim. No gain, loss, incomplete. Time to hit it back over the middle again.
2nd down and 10. Clock stops with 8:18 to play in the ball game. Thomas again in that pistol look. Zarnecki to his right. Doubles on both sides now with receivers on both sides of the field in the slot. They will hand the ball, and Zarnecki makes the first guy miss. He comes right up the middle of the football field, and then he gets tumbled all the way back inside the 25 and thrown down after he picks up a couple of yards.
Stout defense up the middle by the Bulldogs. Number 62 on the stop, that's Kolowich, Austin Kolowich, the junior.
Give him a couple. 3rd down and 2 now. Triples right in front of us here for the Brits. Thomas calls for a quick snap, and he gets it. He has time. Throwing it across the middle, trying to get it to Poor, but he had a Bulldog on his ankles, and let's just see what we've got. Holding against the Britons is what it's going to be called.
Have to think that's going to be wiped off.
Holding, offense number 50. That penalty is declined.
I believe it was Damon Fuller who was on the legs there of Thomas as he was trying to make the throw, hence the bad throw. The holding penalty will be wiped out as the Bulldogs would much rather have the football back than take another 10 yards and march the Britons off and give them another chance. Davis will come back and stand at his 35-yard line, and Blanzy will kick from the 15.
Gonna need to flip the field with this kick.
Britons could use a turnover here or a break of some sort, and Blanzy with a big booming kick. Davis has to run all the way back to the 20-yard line to make that catch. He's on the visitor sideline. Now he's going to change his field and head towards the home sideline. He's got some room, but we've got Laundry on the field. He's at midfield. He's into Britain's territory and pushed out at the 42.
Much ado about nothing, Jimbo.
We either got a block in the back or a hold back here in Bulldog land, and this one's coming back. It's very unusual for anybody to be able to cross that field the way that he did and get that far without seeing any opposition. And then you look down and you see this little yellow flag sitting down there, and you realize, oops, I think we know why.
Still, great return.
Great return, no doubt about that.
The punt coverage team had kind of overcommitted. I mean, it was a great kick to their left, return team's right, having to run to his right over his shoulder, and you figure the return is going to sandwich him into that side. So excellent job of reversing field right there. Unfortunately, that one block grabbed a little bit too much of the jersey, and it pushes them back to about the 33-yard line to start.
About a 55-yard kick by my quick math there on that kick, and Blanzy with a nice job to knock that one deep.
Net return of about 12.
Stewart again, the Wildcat look in the backfield. This one goes right on through him, and now we got a late whistle and a procedure call against Adrian, and I'd like to have that one back.
Yes, sir.
That ball went skipping right on past Emmanuel Stewart and was heading towards the 10-yard line.
That's one I'd like to decline.
Yeah, exactly. We'll take the ball at the 10.
No, we'll take the ball in the end zone because nobody was going to tackle him.
Anarot was the only guy heading towards the football at that point in time. But the whistle wipes out what could have been the break that we were looking for.
And the Wildcat offense goes back to the traditional pistol offense with running back at the right side of quarterback.
Euchre now hands off to Stewart. He'll go around the left end. Anarot trying to get him, and he pushes him out of bounds and out here at about the 37-yard line. In fact, that was, it was Anarot. Anarot knocks Stewart out of bounds after a pickup of about 5, and I'll tell you what, that young fella can get around that corner of the football field as quick as anybody in this league.
Finishes a run, too. Number 7, Michael Harvey, the corner for Albion, gets on the sideline and takes a strong lick, and he got knocked backwards in that exchange.
4 yards is the pickup, 6 to go now, 2nd down. Stewart in the backfield, and they hand it to him, and he's going to get tripped up in the backfield. He'll lose a yard, maybe 2. That's 44 Hunter Shaw on the tackle initially.
Shot through that line right there, Jim. Had him on the thighs before he could even get to the line of scrimmage. No gain.
Reynolds also part of that tackle, but Brits with a nice job to slow Mr. Emmanuel Stewart up, and that's how you do it. Before he gets a head of steam going, you need to put him on the carpet.
Yep. 6:30 and counting to play in the game, 34-26. Adrian College leads.
Nutter back in the ball game. He's to the right of the quarterback. The H-back in front of him to his left. 2 wide receivers on the top. They fake the pass. They run, and they throw a little screen pass, but the ball thrown at the feet of the intended receiver, and that was Caleb Vanderlot.
And the clock stops on the incompletion, so you get what you needed right there.
Interesting play as they fake the handoff, and then that quick little throw to that H-back that they have on the top side. And that ball just basically poorly thrown at his feet. Had no chance to pick that one up.
Number 21.
Colin Parr will drop back to the 25-yard line to return this kick, which will be sent into play from about the 22. Good snap. Here comes the Brits. They got him. 20-yard line, maybe the 19. Anarado on the blitz. He was coming full speed. He wrapped him up in the backfield, and there were 3 helpers with him. And maybe that was Harvey 7. Was it 7? Or yeah, it was 7 Harvey.
That's the break they needed, Jim.
And Storm gets knocked down by numbers. I'm saying it was either 1 or 7. I think it was 7, but it was either Anarad or it was Harvey. It was either 7 or 1, and it was really tough to kind of catch that number from that angle. I initially thought it was Anarad. As he was heading to the sideline, it looked like maybe it was Harvey instead. It doesn't really matter. Storms goes down. It was 1. Anarad had him at the very beginning, so there you go. Anarad with a tackle for the Britons. They have the football on the Bulldog 20-yard line, first down and 10. Thomas fakes, throws across the middle, got his guy. That's Poor, and that's 6. That's how you put that. Yep, there it is.
That's how you answer. Immediate.
Nice job by the Britons.
Do you chase points yet? Looks like they're gonna.
Yep, there you go. There's your decision. 34-32.
You have them on their heels. So, but I understand it. I don't know if I chase points this early, but I'm standing up here with a headset on.
That's up to the coaches, man.
Yes,
that's for my money. I'll never second guess a coach at this point in time.
Plus, there's a lot of time left.
Yeah, you got a lot of time. You're only going to be down. Even if you don't get it, the field goal still wins it for you if you can. Zarnecki will come in. He'll be right up Thomas. They're going for 2. Triples to the top, singles at the bottom. Thomas looks over to Zarnecki and says something to him. Then he goes back. He's looking to throw. He's rolling to his left. Looking to the center of the field, and this one will be incomplete. Going for Poor down around the goal line as he rolled to his left, and you're right, there were just too many gold jerseys with black trim around Colin Poor and really everybody else to try to fit that one in. Doesn't really matter. 34-32, we've got a football game with 6:07 to play here in this contest. Wow, what an interesting situation. That's twice now today that the Brits have been able to get in and either block a punt or this time tackle the punter before he ever even had an idea to kick that ball away. They were in so quickly. Anarot somehow got in in his face so fast that he didn't even have a decision. He just caught the ball and went, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, he looked more at that point like a quarterback, as a backup quarterback. He had already given up on the punt prospect and was looking for somebody to outlet that ball to. But with 3 guys on you and their arms around your arms, I mean, you can't
You're
do
not
anything
going
with
anywhere,
it. Yeah.
but down on the ground.
Just protect it.
Davis will be back at his 5-yard line on the visitor's side. And they will kick him the ball. He'll come up a step or 2 and take it about the 7, right up the visitor's sideline, heading towards the out-of-bounds marker, and he will go down at the 22.
Number 31, Jacob Davis on the return.
And I believe that was Jordan Carter that made the tackle on the other side at the 22-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 with 6:02 to play in this football game.
Getting a little easier to see the numbers now.
Oh, much, much better. That sun is down. The lights are starting to work. I think my corneas are sunburned here today just a little bit, man, from that sun that we were looking into.
You're not supposed to stare at it.
Well,
if the eclipse taught us anything,
it's so darn
pretty.
pretty.
There's no safe time to stare at the sun.
I did my best, Jim, but I'm an old guy and I lose concentration every now and then.
That's all right.
6:02 to play. Bulldogs have the football. They're on their own 22-yard line. First down and 10. Britain's defense needs to come up with a big series right here. See if we can't turn this thing around. Quarterback will go under center, and they'll go into a traditional I, and they will turn and hand the ball to Nutter, who is the I back, and he'll come straight up the middle of the football field to the 25-yard line. Give him 3. That was a different look entirely again. We've only seen Euchre line up under center a couple of times today.
Faked a jet sweep right there as well.
And now Stewart will come in, and the big package will go off to the sideline.
But again, no hurry if you're Adrian College, and no need to burn the timeouts yet if you're Albion College. So 5:27 and counting. Second down coming up.
Doubles to the top and the bottom, and they will hand the ball on a delay to Emmanuel Stewart. He'll go off right tackle, and he'll have almost the first down. I think it'll be just a little bit short.
Nope. They're marking it. First down.
He got it all.
So that'll probably take another 90 seconds to 2 minutes off the clock if they keep it on the ground. Again, still no need to use your timeouts if you're Coach Rundle. But one more first down, and you may have to start thinking about it.
Clock down to 5:04 now, and it is running here at Adrian. Nutter back into the ball game, and he is the running back to the left of Euchre, and they turn and hand the ball to Nutter, and he goes straight forward again. Couple yards to the 35-yard line.
Now you look back at those 3 plays at the 1.
Yeah, Dallas Reynolds with a tackle. When you're sitting here saying, wow.
It'd be 36-34. You know, you never know how the rest of the game will unfold after that, though, so it's easy to say that.
You always
But it would be nice to have those extra 4 points.
No doubt about that. And if you're asking, Jaron McGall looks like he is done for the day. Helmet's off, standing down here. Coach is coming over every now and then to talk to him. It's a shame the young fella can't play anymore.
What an athlete.
Nutter again in the running back spot. They'll hand it off to him. He'll try right side this time, and he has positive yardage. He's across the 36 to about the 38-yard line.
Timeout.
And the Brits will call a timeout with 4:08 to play in the football game, and probably a really good idea. 3rd down and 4 coming up for the Britons right now as we take a look at a few things. First downs, Adrian's today, 28-13 first downs for the Britons.
17 on the ground.
Yeah, isn't that something? Both teams hitting in the 30s on 3rd down possessions. Britons at 38%, 31% for Adrian. Look at that, huh?
433 yards of total offense.
Yeah, for the Adrian Bulldogs to 281 for the Britons here this afternoon.
Goodness gracious, 278 on the ground.
Isn't that something, huh?
Most all of that coming from one player, a very special player.
For the Britons today, only 73 yards of rushing so far today, 208 yards of passing today. And it has been an interesting afternoon. And again, go down to that time of possession, Jim. Almost 40 minutes of possession for Adrian to 16 minutes for the Britons here this afternoon, but we have a 2-point game.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Statistics are a funny thing sometimes. You look at numbers and you think you know exactly how a game's going, and then you look at the scoreboard and you're proven completely wrong.
Euchre in that he lost his footing, but he got the ball to Emmanuel Stewart, and Stewart gets stuffed at the 40-yard line, 2 yards short of that first down.
That play could have been a major disaster for the Bulldogs.
Euchre
up a 4th and short. I don't think there's any question they're going to kick this ball, but they're probably going to let the play clock run all the way down and call a timeout. I would be stunned if they keep the offense on the field here, Jim.
4th down at about a yard and a half. Ball just on the Adrian side of the 41-yard line, and they need to get to the other side of the 42, and their offense is not even flinching.
Nope.
They're staying right there.
See if they're going to try to draw them off sides here, Jim. Wildcat
and
look.
There they go with that Wildcat again. Stewart in the backfield. They'll snap it to him. He lost the handle of the football, but he got the first down, I believe.
That was a false start. Jim, number 36, Ashton Crawford can't be 36. Caleb Vanderloo started moving before the ball was snapped.
Well, if you're expecting to get a call here this afternoon, and it isn't going to happen, there's no doubt about that.
It must have been close enough that it didn't matter, but it certainly looked to the naked eye like Vanderloo was cheating forward a little bit before that ball was snapped.
Ball got snapped a little high. Stewart able to pull it down and got just enough as he crossed the 42-yard line to almost the 43.
Second bad snap, though, here in the 4th quarter on that Wildcat look. Remember the false start, snapped almost back to the end zone.
Euchre now back in there, and he'll turn and hand Nutter, and they're going to try to eat this clock up now. 45-yard line as Nutter gets 2, and the Brits will have to burn a timeout. That's their second one here of the afternoon. So they have one more as the football's at the 45-yard line of Adrian, 2nd down and 8.
I still cannot believe they went forward. I mean, that's moxie.
Yeah, no, you know, again, go back here to that number we just talked about a minute ago. How many yards of rushing?
278 before.
Yeah, 286 yards of rushing this afternoon.
It's working. I mean, but still, in that kind of situation, down in distance where the ball was, I mean, that's playing to win.
Yep, that's exactly what they're doing.
It is.
playing to win, and
and
they
you always say, as you know, depending on who you're rooting for, you'd rather see a team play to win than play not to lose.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100%. 34-32, Adrian on top, 2:46 to play in this football game. Britons have to figure out a way to get the football back and at least give Andrew Fabre a chance to win this football game before it's over this afternoon.
And as the end of the first half showed, the Britons don't need much time to drive down and get in field goal range.
Stewart is the running back to the back of his quarterback there in the pistol look. He's to the right. They'll pitch it and let him sweep the right corner. He breaks the line of scrimmage, and he's still going, and he's got a first down. Boy, you've just got to make the tackles when you've got the opportunities to tackle. And I know that's easier said than done because Emmanuel Stewart has run through more tackles this afternoon than anybody I've seen. And I believe that placement of that ball is going to be just enough for the first down. And if so, well, yep, that's
a first down, yeah.
That's a first down.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, I saw the down marker change to 4 right there, but I think it was only second down to begin with. So.
And that one with 2:39 to play here in the football game, barring some sort of a turnover here, may have just put the final nail in the coffin for the Britons this afternoon.
If they can get, that's their final timeout, so they're going to have to get quick stops and just hope for a 3-and-out at this point.
Well, again, we go back to that fourth down call. What a gutsy call by Coach Jim Deere and his football team. They said, hey, fourth down and a yard on our side of the 50. We're going to make this happen, and they did exactly that.
I figured they'd just try to draw the defense offside and then call a timeout, but instead they went for it, and they were successful.
Well, you know, the fear that you have, Jim, in this league is you kick that football back to the Britons with 3 minutes to go in the game, yeah, things could go the other way. Been the I formation again with the quarterback under center. They'll turn to Nutter, and Nutter just pounds his way through the middle of the field, and he's close to another first down. Boy, the interior of that offensive line just collapsed the entire defensive front of the Britons, and Nutter just looked like a runaway pickup truck going through that hole. He got 9. 8.5, let's say. Second down and a short 2.
You have to think as the offensive line, right now you're basically telling your guys up front, you are going to win the game for us. So you imagine how much motivation they have to drive that defense back.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they're going to block like that, they are going to win the game for you right now because they just absolutely controlled that line of scrimmage. Again, the I formation. Again, the quarterback under center. He'll turn, he'll hand the ball again to Nutter, and Nutter straight up the middle. He'll spin, go into the line of scrimmage. He's going to be awfully close to the first down if he didn't get it. He's within inches, but I think they're going to signal first down. They do. And with 1 minute and 47 seconds left to go and no timeouts left, man, does that, going back to your comment a few minutes ago, man, does that ball on the 1 yard line a little while ago and not being able to punch it in.
Yeah. Well, again, it's easy to say that, but you don't know how the rest of the game will unfold afterwards.
Entirely. So you play it the way you play it. You got the field goal, and now victory formation for the Adrian Bulldogs as they take a knee, and rightfully so.
Yep. No reason to risk it now.
Boy, it's going to be a tough loss for coaching his guys here tonight.
Thankfully, it's a short ride home.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
If they lose this kind of game in Wisconsin or Illinois, then they have to think about it for a long time. Thankfully, this one, get home quick, get a shower, and wipe the stink off this one.
Under a minute to play right now, 19 seconds and counting on that play clock.
You look at that first half and you just keep saying to yourself, they had it. You know, they had it.
And I hate to tell you this, Jimmy, but we're now 0 for 3 in this location, and I was so hopeful that we were going to get that fixed here this afternoon. 35 seconds as this snap is downed and this game is over. 30 seconds on the game clock, 35 seconds on the play clock, and the teams are heading towards the midfield stripe to shake hands and head for the house. And that's going to do it here this afternoon. Your Britons are going to fall to the Bulldogs this afternoon, 34-32. We'll grab some quick stats, put a wrap on this thing, and get ourselves back out of Bulldog land here in just a minute. What a great ball game this was. It was a fun afternoon. It was an exciting game. It was a hard-fought game between two good football teams.
And a 2-point game.
And a 2-point conclusion, 34-32.
We talked in the open about how the average margin of victory lately had been 9.9 points, and we said there's no way it's going to be that far apart. And boy, were we right. 34-32. Adrian wins their homecoming matchup, 31 first downs compared to 13 for the Britons. Total yardage 458 to 281, and that's on the strength of, if your computer will scroll down, 303 yards on the ground compared to 73 for the Britons. That's your game right there. Offensively for the Britons, Kyle Thomas 14 of 24, 208, 2 touchdowns and a costly interception. Zarnecki leads all rushers for the Brits, 11 carries, 60 yards and a touch. Thomas 6 for 9, Mitchell 2 for 4 through the air. Colin Poor 4 catches for 98 and a touch. Koski 3 for 45, Blanzy 2 for 34. Martin had the other receiving touchdown, 4 for 25, and Zarnecki catches a 6-yard touchdown. Real quick scrolling over for the home team. Assuming I can get that to go. I'd never have any luck clicking the opposite jersey on this. Drives me nuts. Bear with me one moment, folks. Nothing like listening to nothing on radio while a guy struggles with technology.
34-32, our final this afternoon. The Bulldogs win, and I'll tell you, it was a very dominating offense this afternoon by Clayton Euchre and his bunch. 12
of 18, 155, a touchdown, an interception, a pick six early in the first quarter, but he rebounded nicely from that. Didn't have to throw the ball a lot, though, because Emmanuel Stewart carried it 39 times for 219 yards and 2 touchdowns. If I had to guess, if they do a player of the game here at Adrian, he'd probably be the player of the game. He'd get my vote anyway.
I think I'd vote for him. How's that? Yeah.
David Nutter, 28 carries for 107. So between those two running backs, 67 carries, 326 yards and 3 touchdowns. Incredible job on the ground. And you have to give a lot of that credit to the offensive line, too. Through the air, Jaron McGaw, 8 catches for 84 yards. Unfortunately, did leave the game due to injury and was unable to return. It was good to see that young man up and moving. Offense suffered a little bit as a result. Just a tremendous athlete. Randy Fry, 1 catch for 40 yards, and that play-action pass down the right side. Manuel Stewart, 2 for 19, and Vanderloo, 1 for 12. So 34-32, a heartbreaking loss for the Brits. An exciting victory for the Bulldogs on homecoming. Sends their alumni home happy, but thankfully it's a short ride, like we said, for Coach Rundle's group. They can get home and get over this one and get ready for next week's matchup.
A couple of defensive stats real quick before we get out of here, and that's where we led the way here this afternoon because of the number of plays that Adrian ran. Jose Rodriguez had 19 tackles this afternoon, including 9 solos. Richard Anerot was 16, including 2 tackles for loss, including that tackle on the punter at the end of the game that really almost turned things around for the Britons this afternoon. Dallas Reynolds had 9 tackles, including a 1 tackle for loss. And let's see, we had the 1 interception. That was Michael Harvey. He scooped it up, went 81 to the house early in the football game, and at that point in time it looked like the Britons were off to a great start and maybe the opportunity to take a big W home with them from their rivals here in Adrian. But as it ends this afternoon, it's a 2-point loss today, 34-32. The Britons now will fall to 1-3 on the season, and the Bulldogs will go to 2-2. More importantly, the Bulldogs 1-0 in the conference. The Brits 0-1 in the conference as we get started here for the MIAA season. And Adrian next week will be at Lakewood. They actually go on the road 3 weeks in a row. Lakeland, they're at Lakeland on the 7th. They're at Hope on the 14th. They're at Kazoo on the 21st. Then they'll be home on the 28th to Trine.
And that's exactly why they have homecoming as early as they do, because of the way the schedule shakes out.
Yeah, they've got to go away for a while. The Brits will be home with a tough one next Saturday, and we will be there. They have Trine coming to town to play, and Trine 1-0 in the conference and undefeated on the season so far. And we will bring you all that action with full video next week at 1 o'clock here on the Britain Sports Network.
Jim, for complete details on today's game as well as all other news and notes on the Britain's fall sports, go to gobrits.com. Our thanks to Ken Reeker for this audio-only production, and our thanks to the crew here at Adrian College for their hospitality, for making today's broadcast possible. Thank you, as always, for watching the Britton's Sports Network. Good night, everybody, and have a great weekend.